What up, bone bags? Welcome back to Punch Drunk Nerd, the podcast where three friends, three bozos, three buckaroos come together in the middle of the week to finally talk about some nerd shit. It's me, your host, Luis Gonzalez, and with me, of course, is
Miguel Sanchez.
And Deadpool.
And every week we are covering three things. The first thing, news of the week. Second thing, a featured discussion. Could be a movie, could be an event. This week we're talking about Nope. And then we're going to wrap it all up with what we're into. Look at that. 1, 2, 3. The perfect number to have all things. Now we're going to jump right into the news of the week. The biggest thing you've heard. What the fuck? Batgirl is no longer being released. Period. Now, hey, not even the movies, not even HBO Max. Even though this movie is pretty much done, they spent $70 to $100 million on it. And they just said, hey, we're not going to release this movie. I think when this news first came out, there was news circulating that, it was testing poorly by moviegoers, and so we're going to pull it. But as you dissect more into the news story, you're hearing that because of this merger with Discovery, Warner Brothers and Discovery, they're pulling it because the studio decided to cut its losses and run for the sake of the brand's future. David Zaslav, who's the Discovery CEO, has been known to be budget conscious. He axed CNN Plus, and he's seeking to have a $3 billion in cost savings. But before I get into the nitty gritty, I just want to get to reactions. Okay, I mean this is crazy, right? That this is canceled.
Blew my mind. I mean, when you sent us this message yesterday, that it got canceled or whatever, I initially thought you just meant, oh, they're not running it in theaters anymore.
Right.
And it's going to go straight to HBO Max, which is what it was originally going to do anyway. So I was just kind of like, oh, haha, classic Warner Brothers being silly little goofs. And then I realized, oh no, you mean like it's like canceled, done. It's not coming out. And that I sat with that forever. I mean, like I just couldn't get past it. I read about it all night long and all morning today. Because it's just like, someone said it was unprecedented, and you're like, yeah, you really don't see this happen where a whole movie, which is basically done, besides all the post-production stuff, but basically, you know what I mean, done. And then they're just like, no, fuck that. We're not even going to release it. Michael Keaton is in this movie as Batman, and they're like, no.
I mean, it's J.K. Simmons, Michael Keaton, Brendan Fraser as Firefly. Like, what a wild villain that I would have loved to see that we're never going to see. I think the crazy part is we will never, ever get to see this movie.
It's got me messed up because I didn't give two shits about this movie, very respectfully. I just wasn't super hyped for it or anything like that. I would see it, especially if it was on HBO Max. Like, I would watch it for sure at home. But now the fact that I can't, it like makes me angry. I'm like, what the fuck you mean I can't watch this movie? Like, no, I want to see this now. I'm ready to see the leaked footage now.
For the love of God, we need a saint to leak this. Like, they'll get sued, they'll get fired, but do it for all of mankind.
But
leak the movie.
All of mankind. But then it releases and then we're just like, oh, it really was shit, huh?
I mean, well, so that's my takeaway is it really is split one way or the other. Like, maybe they're telling the truth. Like, maybe it really just did test poorly and it's like a shit show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be released. But also maybe it's the other half where this guy is just trying to like cut costs and it's like, I don't even want to bother with this one. And maybe we want to protect the brand and make it a little more solid in the future. So there's like there is maybe some optimism, like, oh, maybe he's got like a vision for how the DC movies are going to look. And this one didn't fit into it. And so we're going to restructure, which is what they need. I don't know.
They just had a successful release of a Batman movie, which they're obviously sticking to. They have Joaquin Phoenix's Joker continuing. So it's like, well, what's the point? I don't know. Maybe, and I saw that maybe they're talking about getting rid of the Flash too. Like, this is leading into that.
So there's talk, right?
There's
like,
always talk, yeah.
That's what's going to happen next. And it lends to it because it's like, obviously we've been talking about Ezra Miller for how many weeks on the podcast?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I wouldn't put it past them to go ahead and just cancel this movie. You know what I mean? And Michael, that's what blows my mind the most is if you cancel Batgirl, okay, Michael Keaton coming back as Batman is still like a big thing because that's supposed to happen first in The Flash.
Right.
But if you cancel the Flash movie too, it's like, why did you even ask Michael Keaton to come back for this shit? You know, like, why waste anyone's time with it?
Because it was a money grab. These movies have increasingly been losing money. They've been losing fan bases. Like, it's been so inconsistent that probably the new heads are just like, no, I don't want to keep investing in this mess. It's so rife with controversy from,
My favorite... I'm sorry, you're about to talk about Zack Snyder. Go ahead.
No, I mean, yeah.
My favorite rumor right now is the internet going, they're like salivating to be like, oh, maybe they'll bring back Zack Snyder in the Snyderverse.
Right,
and
no.
it's just like fucking blow my brains out.
They're still talking. They're still looking.
About the Snyderverse.
They're still looking for somebody like a Kevin Feige to take over the universe. You know what I mean? There's talk that like that it got received poorly, but I really think it seems like, and I'm going to talk about this next in another news story continuing on, but it feels like there is a vision that's happening, because here it says he opted to take a tax write-down on the film rather than release it, as his strategy is to refocus Warner on theatrical rather than streaming films. That was on Hollywood Reporter. And there was a moment during the pandemic when Warner Brothers, I think, is it Comcast? Was it with
it was AT&T.
AT&T, thank you. AT&T, they were making the move to say, we're going to put everything on streaming. That's our move, and even like all these directors were upset that like, oh, we're moving to streaming, and they didn't know that their movies, like Dune was going to streaming, and they didn't even know it was going to happen. And so that was their big move. And it seems like he's kind of whipping back the opposite. And he's like, fuck it. We're only going to do theatrical. We're going to go back into blockbuster world. And just to clarify, a tax write-down reduces the value of an asset for tax and accounting purposes. And they're actually recently doing this with another movie called Scoob, The Holiday Haunt. So they're pulling that movie as well and doing a tax write-down for it. It's seen internally as the most financially sound way to recoup the costs on an accounts ledger. If they move forward, like showing it with this action of a tax write-down, they will be unable to monetize it in the future. So they, not even another company could pick it up. They can't even stream it. They can't, like, it's just in a standstill. Like, it truly gets shelved. And I think legally they can't do anything because of this tax write-down that he's trying to do.
I will say that, to the point that I was trying to say earlier, is like, if there is a vision here, the internet has been bitching about DCEU ever since the beginning of time, it feels like. So it's like, if they are really going to refocus everything, you know what I mean? Yeah. And like get a better vision, a more streamlined thing, like this could end up being a really good thing for the DCEU. Yeah. Like, okay, let's see a cohesive product. Let's get it put together.
I do want to throw this.
It's so classic, like knee jerky. You know what I mean?
I do want to say this because this just came out today that I found out, and this adds more to the conversation, even though it's not specifically Batgirl, but still. A Reddit user found out that HBO Max started removing titles without telling people. And these were all HBO Max releases, like HBO Max originals, An American Pickle, Moonshot, Super Intelligent, The Witches remake with Anne Hathaway, Lockdown, and Charm City Kings. These were all HBO Max originals. They're pulling them down. And like there's a HBO Max release of House Party that has been removed from the release calendar. And so I just don't understand what their mindset is with HBO Max in general. It's like, fuck the streaming service. You know what? These titles are already out on the streaming service. Why are they even pulling those?
Why pull it?
Why? Like, are they really curating this now? Are they really like against streaming? And they're like, are they really just saying we're going only blockbuster now with stuff moving forward? And so, and then to end my point here, a rival studio exec was floored by the move. Quote, I worked in this town for 3 decades, and this is some unprecedented shit right here. That's all I have to say as far as like all these technical stuff. But I mean, it's weird, right? It's weird seeing all these things come into play. Like it seems bigger than just the movie sucked or whatever.
Like it's still content for your product, like your brand.
But they want to they want to refocus Warner on theatrical rather than streaming films. Like,
Sure.
I mean, obviously, the internet's talking today about the fact that they may shutter HBO Max. You know what I mean? And it's just like HBO Max is like one of the best streaming services out there. Now, you can bitch about like some things with the UI here and there, but I mean, like content wise, like HBO is constantly putting out strong content. And I mean, we talk about that on the podcast all the time. Like HBO Max, please sponsor us. Like,
Yes.
I love HBO Max. Like, I watch a ton of their content, and the idea that they would shut this down or change it again. I mean, like, I can remember before streaming, it was just HBO, and then it was like HBO Go, and then HBO Now,
right?
Both going on at the same time, and then AT&T refocused it to HBO Max, and it's purple now.
Yeah,
and you're like, ugh, okay, what is going to happen with this app next? You know what I mean? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, there are articles being released now. We're recording on a Wednesday, August 3rd. So, who knows what will be released and what other things we'll learn. But man, I'm reading this now. Speculation is on fire on HBO Max future. I mean, why? I feel like it's such a popular streaming service. When I talk to other people, it has such a host. I mean, are they going to downgrade to just keep things on HBO Go and HBO Now? Because they have all these hubs in HBO as well, right? Like they have Adult Swim, they have Cartoon Network, they have, other things that people are into.
TCM.
It's just TCM, and I just don't understand. Oh, James Gunn says Peacemaker season 2 is safe. It seems like TV shows are safe.
Oh, well, thank God.
It seems like TV shows are safe, but movies may not be, like, because the titles that I said earlier were movies. And
that's
TV
also
shows.
like HBO's biggest, well, one of their biggest draws, right?
Their shows.
The quality of their shows, yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. Succession, yeah. It's just...
I mean, imagine if they took that show off. Imagine if they dropped any of those shows. You know what I mean? There's hits on this app, dude. Like, don't just delete this and throw it away, or make us go to like Discovery Plus if you want to watch this. You know what I mean,
dude? Don't tell me that. I mean,
and you just got to think like Warner Brothers is, as a studio, has been around for God knows how long. My entire life. You know what I mean? When you think about Warner Brothers, you think about like big hits. You know what I mean? And it just keeps getting passed around like this shameful little thing.
It really is, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'll buy it. No, I'll buy it. And then it's just like, what are we? What are we doing here? No, that would blow my mind if the hit shows that I like to watch start getting taken off. True Detective, Ed. You know what I mean? Succession. They just finished the Last of Us TV show. That's going to be released next year. You know what I mean? Like,
it's got to be.
What if they decide to throw that away?
It's got to be HBO Max purely original movies. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's
I'm working myself up. Clearly, I'm just getting a little over the top here. Oof, let me catch my breath. I'm just so fucking angry.
Well, we asked them to sponsor us. I don't think they'll be able to sponsor us now with them penny pinching everything and won't even release the Batgirl movie.
They can't afford us.
They can't afford us. Exactly. They're pulling titles.
No, we should keep funding this podcast in
That's
Texas
right.
And Colorado and California.
Well, you know what? They're pulling these TV shows, they're pulling these movies, but you know who they're not pulling back is Jared Leto. Somehow he's getting cast again for Haunted Mansion. We thought he was gone. We thought he's wreaked havoc enough as the Joker, as Morbius, but the memes live on, and Jared Leto lives on. He is again cast for Haunted Mansion. For some reason, this just took me back. I was just like, how is this happening? I don't know. I'm sure you guys maybe don't feel as strongly as I do. I was just taken aback that he is in this Disney Haunted Mansion movie. Jamie Lee Curtis is in it as well. Other cast includes Rosario Dawson, Owen Wilson as a priest, Danny DeVito as a college history professor, Lakeith Stanfield, and Tiffany Haddish. Okay, you know what? I'm sorry. I have one more feeling about this Batgirl. I feel really bad for Leslie Grace, who was playing Batgirl, and she just had her, what's it called for? Come on, tell me what that musical. Highland, no. Big Hills, no. What? Come on, I'm embarrassing myself here. The Heights.
In the Heights?
In the Heights.
Oh, okay.
In the Heights.
That was a journey.
Yeah, Leslie Grace. I mean, listen, you get the role of being Batgirl, and then you're like, I'm set. I'm going to be in movies. I'm going to be in sequels. Let me buy those houses now. And then it gets pulled like imagine all the work you put into it from the audition and even the directors, like, you know, and the writer, and it's just like, it's heavy. It's heavy.
We didn't have it on the notes, but you guys know that Blue Beetle movie is also coming out.
Yeah.
Y'all know
Blue Beetle.
What I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And it's just like, that's another one that could possibly be thrown away. You know what I mean? Like if Batgirl is getting canceled with Michael Keaton's Batman, I'm gonna bring this up one more time. Who the fuck is Blue Beetle? You know what I mean? Like, I barely know who that is.
Yeah.
And I understand there's like representation here, but it's just like, how are any of these movies going to survive? You know what I mean? Like, I would just be shaking in my boots right now if I was like in a post-production movie.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, please let this come out.
Do you guys not think there's like the slightest chance that this movie will see the light of day?
The fans will will it into fruition. You know what I mean?
This David Zaslav guy seems like a villain unprecedented than anyone. Like, the Zack Snyder fans are able to come in and get it, but I don't think David's gonna like budge. He's just like, nope, we're done. Remove. I mean, he's removing movies that have already been made. Like, you're not safe. You could have the movie released and you're not safe. I used to work in a Discovery Digital Media company. Okay, I worked for a YouTube channel under Discovery Digital Media, under David Zaslav's. Like, he's way above me. And we got moved to another group, and they shut down that YouTube network. And you know,
that's just what he's about.
I've been near his flames of vengeance. You know what I mean? Of him shutting things down. I don't know. Obviously, I don't know if he did it directly.
Does he like his job?
I mean, look, he's at Discovery. He wants to make like stuff that's going to hit, you know, and be efficient about it. Is what he seems like to me. He's just like, we got to be efficient. But David, if you want to come on this podcast, we can have a conversation. You know, we're more than happy to talk with you. But
you have to pay us,
so he can shut us down too.
Yeah,
I'm buying YouTube and shutting you down. I don't know. I'm sorry. I'm going back to. I mean, but look, I don't know, man. Okay, do you guys have any more thoughts on Batgirl? I feel like we were so hyped about it.
I don't want to talk about it all night.
Okay,
it's just It blows my mind. That's all I'll say. It's fucked me up. I feel like I halfway empathize with those Snyder fans.
Yeah.
As much shit as I talk to them, you know what I mean? Now I kind of like get it. Like, okay. Okay. I don't say anything else.
You know what? I've been against the Snyder fans, but if they can come back and release this film just for the sake of sticking it to the man,
I'll pat him on the back.
I'm here for it. Let's get those bots going.
Where's Anonymous? Release this shit. You know what I mean? Like, you can take over like Chinese websites. Let's get something. You know what I mean?
Dude, yeah.
Let me see the rough cut.
Hit us up, Anonymous. Let's work together. All right. So I talked about Jared Leto long enough. I don't want to keep talking about that. Let's talk about some happy news. Everything Everywhere All at Once has passed 100 million worldwide. It's a first ever for A24. It received a re-release this past weekend with 8 minutes of additional footage added with outtakes and a pre-recorded message from directors. This is the most successful A24 movie of all time. It's leapfrog over Uncut Gems at 50 million and Hereditary was at 79 million. And this movie had a budget of 25 million. So, which is a, you know, a budget you don't really see a lot in movies these days. Usually they have, you know, 100 million, 250 million. You don't really get like this middle ground budget, you know?
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I think Ed, you put this in here?
I'm just happy to see it.
Yeah,
it found an audience, you know. So
it really did. Yeah. It really did, and I'm so proud of these dudes. And I like how resourceful they are. A little movie that could. All right, so we got some gaming news I wanted to spit out real quick. I'm going to go over here to some more happy Batman news. Gotham Knights. It's a game that I've been talking about. It's a game that I'm excited about. They've revealed 28 superhero designs. It's an IGN exclusive. They have from all kinds of suits, 6 suits, but there are 6 suits because there's 4 of them. But there will be 11 suits total, 44 individual. And they have different artists from France, Korea, Japan, and US. Even comic legend Jim Lee was able to put his input on some of these things. And we got a variety of looks. We got stuff that looks like very Shogun Japanese style. We have almost like Batman Beyond versions of these things. We have comic-y styles. We have, it runs the gamut, and they all feel very different. And I feel like sometimes when you get skins and suits, they can look a little similar, just a little bit different. But here they look really distinct, and it's really cool. As well, this isn't not an RPG where you start as a weakling. It's always a story of like, you start as like no powers, no suit, and so you have to kind of work your way in like getting a suit, getting your abilities, remembering everything. But here it's quoted, it was very important for us that these heroes, our knights, are that they're already awesome at the start of the game. It's not a function of them being ineffective as crime fighters, quite the opposite. They are all effectively graduates of the Batman School of Crime Fighting. That's cool. So that's cool. I think I like that, and this is one of the games I'm excited about.
I want to be excited about it. I saw, I think it was IGN had like the first 16 minutes of gameplay or whatever.
Yeah.
I watched it and I was like, okay, I'm kind of interested. Like, I think I might wait to see what you say about it.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you come back and you're like, Miguel, this is hot.
Yeah.
All right, I'll play it.
When it first came out, the trailer, I was like, oh, another thing, because I think what was it, the other Suicide Squad video game by
Kill the Justice
League, which I think that's in the Arkham verse of and so that it had back-to-back trailers, and I was like, oh man, I don't know, but I like the co-op idea. I like I don't know. I'm getting more excited about it for some reason. And I'm not usually a Bat Family fan.
Me either.
Yeah.
So I don't really know why I'm like I'm becoming gravitated towards the game. But
I mean, it piques my interest that there's all these skins that you can get.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like one of my initial whatevers about the game is like I'm not in love with the way these characters look. You know what I mean? Like I almost said Red Skull. What's his name? Red Hood. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He just looks really beefy, like just like a Batman. You know what I mean? Figure, but just like painted to look like Red Hood. And I'm just like, I don't know. It looks kind of cheap. Batman Montreal. No, I'm sorry. Warner Brothers Montreal. That's the one that did in the middle of the Arkham trilogy or whatever. They did a prequel, Batman Arkham Origins.
Right.
You know what I mean? And they shoved that one over to WB Montreal. And that one was like, an okay game.
Wait, is this also Warner Brothers Montreal, this Gotham Knights game?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you can fact check me.
Yeah.
Let us know at Punch Drunk Nerd or Luis right now.
It is developers, W Games Montreal. Oh no, I remember her. Yeah, I remember hearing Arkham Origins wasn't that great, but they did Arkham City. I don't know. I'm so sorry. I'm getting back into games, folks. All right, so please be kind. Let us know at Punch Drunk Nerd, Instagram, Twitter, all that jazz. Gotham Knights is coming out. I think I just like all the different abilities. I got playing with Guardians of the Galaxy, and I like how everyone had different, features. So that's a thing. Of course, I have to talk about it, even though many of us may not play, but it's big in the gaming world. Pokémon Scarlet and Violet. It just got announced today. This one's unique because it's going to be 3 story campaigns. It's not, instead of just the one, you get to kind of pick. Obviously, one of the campaigns is defeating the 8 gyms, and this time you don't have to do it in order. The other 2 are a mystery. Another cool thing, it looks like there's a 4-player co-op situation, which is pretty cool. It's going to release November 18, 2022. I played Sword and Shield. I picked that up because I was trying to get back into it, and I really didn't play it that much. Like, I stopped playing. It was kind of meh for me, and looking at the trailer, I just don't like how it looks. It just looks very flat and bad, and I just want a higher res version of it. And I know it's the same company that worked on Pokemon Red and Blue when it came out on a Game Boy. You know what I mean? Like, these were all Game Boy games. Yeah, originals. Yeah. And now, obviously, the Switch is like a portable, obviously, system. So they transitioned into that. But I just this isn't exciting enough for me to get back into it. And I don't know how everyone else feels it, but let me know at Punch Drunk Nerd how you feel about Pokemon. I mean, listen, I'm not going to play it, but I just think it's an interesting topic to talk about. So,
Luis, while we're talking about gaming news, I meant to ask you last week, but because of all the shit that was going on, we didn't get to it. But let me ask you this: can I get a quick update? Are you done playing God of War, or are you still playing it?
I am still playing it. This is the thing. I got caught up with obviously Comic-Con, so that I lost a week, and then I had another week where I was lost. I'm actually taking. I took a little break because I'm going to talk about it, what we're into. But I'm playing Stray now. You know, the cat game.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I'd rather hear about that.
And it's you know, spoiler alert. It won't be a lot to talk about, but that's the game I'm going. Not that I hate it. I haven't played enough of it, which I will tonight. I will play a lot of it.
Let me ask you this: what was the last thing you remember with God of War? Like where did you leave off?
So where I left off in God of War was I decapitated that dude's head, and then I went to the witch, and we're trying to like revive him. We revived him, and now we're trying to get to Jotunheim.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
And you know what? You probably think you're almost done with the game.
God damn it.
You're fucking not.
It's okay. I'm having a good time. I tell you, my game plan right now is I have Stray, then it's God of War, then Last of Us Remake will be out. Then I'm going to play that. And then once I finish that, God of War Ragnarok will have come out, and then I'm going to play that. And then, who knows? We'll shit. And then Gotham Knights, when is that coming out? Look it up. October 25th? Boy, I'm in trouble.
Sarah's not going to get you to do anything.
I'm gonna be very unhealthy. No, we'll see.
You're gonna gain like 25 pounds.
I know.
By January, you're gonna look a little pudgy around the cheeks. We'll be like, "Hey, Luis, what do you see, bro?"
Yeah, my skin just becomes pale as I no longer. I go to the doctor. Sure, I could be in the hospital, but can you bring my PS5 in here? I need to keep playing God of War.
Wheel it in.
So that's all the big news here, and unfortunately, we had someone else pass away. Ed, you put this in here as usual.
I just, if it's
fucking Debbie Downer over here,
it's news. You want to respect people.
We do want to respect people.
Growth. Yeah. And the sad thing is like I'm not even like a fan of these people, but they were big. I mean, Patt Caroll, who did the voice of Ursula from The Little Mermaid. I mean, what such an impressionable villain.
Fantastic. Fantastic.
Like iconic. Like, so that needs to be noted. And Lily is obsessed with that song, Unfortunate Souls.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
She loves that song. Classic. And then of course Nichelle Nichol from who
the
played
original Star Trek
in
Uhura.
Who is like a pop culture icon.
So
I'm not a big Trekkie, but you gotta
respect
what do you say? Gotta give him flowers.
I'll give a real quick 30 seconds on Nichelle Nichols dying. I would not have classified myself as a big Star Trek fan. Like when the J.J. Abrams movies came out, you know what I mean?
Right.
I didn't like run to them thinking, "Oh, I'm the biggest Star Trek fan." I just saw them. But actually, I've got a little bit of like heartwarming feelings about the original Star Trek. My mom, she was a big fan growing up. She watched them.
Oh wow!
And when I was younger, Sci-Fi used to run like marathons of the original show. First, I think it's only like 3 seasons or something like that. But my mom, she would record them on like VHS tape.
Yes,
we would get like 10 episodes of tape or some shit like that. And after she got them all, we would just like, that was like sometime for a stretch of time, that was like what our nightly routine was, like throw on a Star Trek. Yeah. And so that's like cool. Her run as Uhura, you know what I mean? Like, and obviously you got to talk about her and Kirk, I'm blanking on his name, William Shatner. That was like the first interracial kiss on television. Yeah. Wow. You know what I mean?
Wow.
And, you know what I mean? Like, what a big moment that must have been. Obviously we weren't alive when that happened, but
right.
But yeah, I have fond memories of watching that show, being a youngin', and shout out. I remember, I texted my mom right away as soon as I saw the news. I was like, "Oh, Uhura died." She never got back to me about it, actually. But anyway, for me, it was heartwarming.
Well, next time we have Star Trek news, we know who to talk to. Miguel.
Okay, we'll see.
It's all Trekkie over here.
Oh, yeah. Live long.
And prosper, Miguel.
No, I know. But it seems insensitive that I said live long after she just died.
Well, she lives long in our hearts, for sure.
That's right.
So we're going to cheers to her. We're clinking our drinks here. All right, guys. Do you know what time it is?
Tell us.
It's trailer time. Okay. Woo, 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 woo. We're moving from Star Trek to Star Wars Andor, or if you are
Stellan Skarsgård.
Steven Skarsgård, Andor.
Stellan.
Oh, Stellan Skarsgård. It's Andor. With his accent. So Andor has released a trailer and a poster. 3 episodes coming out September 21st. What do you guys think?
I don't know. No, I liked it. I'm optimistic for this one. I know Tony Gilroy is like heading up, and he did all the, I guess embellishments on Rogue One. I liked Rogue One, so I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful for this one, and they seem to have something planned out. Unlike some of these shows that we're getting into. And yeah, I mean the scope and the visuals on this trailer looked really cool. So I'm interested.
They were shooting on location on some of the stuff, like in the mountains of Scotland and things like that. So they've escaped the volume and trying to do stuff on site.
That's cool. And yeah, and the thing is with this character, I don't have like a whole lot of expectations going into it. Like, it's not going to be trying to tie into the Skywalker saga or whatever. I mean, probably not anyway. So yeah, it'll just be interesting to see what happens, honestly. Like, we get to see some actual Star Wars.
Right.
And the rise of the rebellion.
I really loved Rogue One. I watched the trailer for it when it came out about 1 million times. And I really liked how in that trailer they like sound the alarm that like blares throughout the rest of the trailer. You know what I mean? And it really sets the tone of the trailer, or the pace of the trailer or whatever.
Yeah.
And I noticed in this Andor trailer that they kind of mimic that. It's not the exact same sound, but they do something very similar where they like have like this repeating sound over and over as the trailer builds. And it's like, okay, I feel it. Like, I feel like it fits into that same world. Like, I'm in that same mindset when I watch this trailer. It looks good.
Yeah,
it looks solid.
The trailer did help me convince me, because when I heard about this series, I wasn't too excited. I think I don't really particularly like that character, Andor, and it's just so weird. I just didn't like him. Like, as a character, I'm sure the actor's great, but for me, I just thought he was like too much of a dick, and
sure.
I wish, the show would, the show could have been called like Rebels, but obviously that show already exists in like a title, but I like the idea of, actual Star Wars and the rebellion and things like that, but I'm sure I'm in the wrong here. I'm sure it'll be great, but I don't know. I
don't think it'll be great. I have my
I don't know.
As far as Star Wars shows go, like, I don't know how good it's going to be, but I did like his character. I was listening to something the other day in regards to this trailer, and just how not every Star Wars character has to be like the hopeful
nice
hero.
Nice.
Like the thing when we meet Andor in Rogue One, he's just he's like a cold killer,
right?
Because that's what war does to people, and not everybody is always going to be like optimistic or whatever. He's just doing the job because he wants to win overall.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, I get it. I don't know what it is. That all makes sense. It all makes. Because we're
I'm not
getting.
Saying you're wrong.
I love this.
Because we're also, a lot of people preferred his droid rather.
Right, which I'm sure we'll see. But it's like it makes sense because we got a Boba Fett who is like the kindest, hardest man in the world. You know what I mean? We have, and then Like, I don't want that either.
That's what they did.
It's like they've been making all these characters to kind-hearted people, and now we're having an asshole, and I'm complaining about it. But it's like, really, we do need a shift in these shows.
I kind of love, like, I'm not into Star Wars at all, but I'm like really making an effort with these TV shows, and I'm getting kind of into them now. And I love that you guys are like, we love Star Wars, and I fucking hate these TV shows. I feel like, oh man, I'm on the wrong side of the coin.
No, but the thing is I was watching the trailer and I was driving home and I was listening to all this stuff, and there are misses, but there are moments of shining gems that happen that just like blow me away. I'm like, whoa, that's so cool that I got to see that, where I get to have that moment where, like, certain Mandalorian moments, certain even Obi-Wan moments where, I like the whole series. I think there are moments I was like, wow, I'm so glad I got to see that for a little bit. There are like these lulls and dark pathways, but then I get hit with these cool moments that I like. It's just keeping it consistent. And you know what? It is going to be helmed by the person who, what'd you say? Who worked on Rogue One?
Tony Gilroy.
Yeah.
He didn't. So Gareth Edwards technically directed Rogue One, but Tony Gilroy came in for the reshoots.
Okay.
So
here's a fun fact before I move forward, unless you have more to say. But the composer of Succession is also composing this show.
That'll be fun.
Yeah, I don't know how you guys.
I love the score in Succession.
The music is so good on that show, Louise. Yeah. You should watch it, Louise.
I will once it's the new season comes out. I will be catching up.
Plenty to catch up on in the meantime.
Yes, I have all these games I have to catch up on and go to the hospital over for. Oppenheimer announcement. It's been announced. It's been here. We have it. It exists. It happened. We talked about it last week. It showed up before the trailer of Nope on IMAX screenings, but now you can see it online. Thoughts?
Oh man, I just saw Nope in IMAX today, and they did not play that trailer. I just realized that.
Are you serious?
Bummer.
Yeah,
that's
I feel
up.
You have seen it though.
I have seen it. Yeah. But I mean, to be able to watch it on the IMAX screen, that would have been fun.
Pretty fucked.
No, that sucks.
We talked about it last week. I honestly was kind of underwhelmed by the trailer.
How?
Because nothing happened.
It's just a teaser.
Have you met Christopher Nolan?
Well, when I watch his other
we're lucky we got to see any kind of visual at all.
Well,
we could have just seen flames and just been like words. Christopher Nolan.
That's words. Right. I mean, look, when they had IMAX previews, I guess I'm spoiled because we saw actual scenes from his movies. Yeah. You know what I mean? From
Ed.
Yeah.
I was reminiscing about something this week. I don't know if you saw it, but the Simpsons movie is 15 years old as of last week. Luis, Ed and I went to go see that movie. Ed's a Simpsons fan, so he was probably excited to see the movie.
Yeah.
I specifically went to go see that movie with him because they were running that was like the very first Dark Knight trailer that came out.
Oh,
the
wow.
teaser. And
you don't see anybody.
You don't see anything. It's just like a flame, right? The bat
and it had the laughing and stuff like that. Well, that's exciting.
Just a little bit. You know what
I mean, everyone knows Batman. I don't need much to get to know. You can put Batman on the screen. I'm excited, But Oppenheimer, like a man who murdered a bunch of people,
like you're like, okay,
the iconic hat that everyone obsesses over. You know what I mean? Like
it was Indiana Jones or something.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. I guess I'm excited because it says Christopher Nolan, but I just felt like emotionally underwhelmed.
I loved the cast for this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's such a different cast. I think we probably talked about it already, but it blows my mind specifically. Like Robert Downey Jr. going to be in a Nolan movie. Like,
I didn't see the cast either in the teaser. Like all I saw was.
But that's the point of a teaser. It's supposed to.
No, I know, but I didn't even get a. I barely. I don't know. I guess I just felt underwhelmed. Or I didn't get a good feeling about it. I just got flames. It's that same effect he got in the intros of all the Batmans. It's like that smoke effect. It's like, we're doing this again. I mean, it's fine. It's okay. It comes out July 21st, 2023. I'll see it. I'll see it on July 21st. Really, July 20th, because they always have an early preview. 2023. It'll be 2 hours and 30 minutes. I'm not mad about that. I'm okay with that.
Are we? Yeah, I was wondering what that is. Are you just like getting the run times?
Dude, I think that's going to be our thing. Yeah, I'm putting out run times for all these movies. What, you don't like that?
Well, only because I don't have an issue with runtimes like you guys do.
I just think it's interesting to put
if it's just like, don't go see this movie. It's 2 hours and 45 minutes.
I think some movies, the runtimes are appropriate.
Of the cinema.
Floating.
Go fuck
I don't
yourself.
care how long when this movie ends. I want to be here forever. You know? Let the party go forever.
No, I'm on the opposite side, Luis. Keep putting these fucking runtimes because then I'm gonna be like, you know what? Maybe Nolan, I'll watch it later. Not on HBO Max.
I think there are some movies that are appropriate for it. You know, like I think
most of his movies have been clocking at around that time anyway. Since The Dark Knight, I feel like Dunkirk was like his shortest movie of late. Everything else of his goes over 2 hours for sure.
We should go.
Yes,
How many hours can you sit through a movie? You know what I mean? Like if you had to, like you saw The Irishman in theaters.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's a solid 3 hours, like on the dot movie, right?
And I didn't pee once, bruh.
And we know what happened there. All right, we already know what's going on. I bet your kidneys were killing you.
Talking about my current medical condition. Yeah,
I don't want to give too much away.
We don't want to out you right now.
Needless to say, I'm not drinking tonight,
What's the
ladies
longest
and gentlemen.
6 hours, Ed. Could you sit through a 6 hour long movie?
I'd have to go to the toilet eventually.
Cast? 4 hours.
No, I mean something
5
like
hours.
that would
10 hours.
No. I mean, there is like a level of like excessive, but 2.5 hours was fine. Oh, 3.5, sorry. 3.5 hours. Four might be my max, I guess.
You think so?
With the right director,
Your
the
HBO
right
Max,
cast.
4 hours? Okay.
I think, right? I mean, I'm not insane.
Go fuck yourself. I would never sit through a 4 hour long movie. The fact I'm looking at my phone at 2:05. I start looking at my clock going, okay, how many more minutes are left in this movie? You know what I mean?
Would you guys be open to it if they started incorporating intermissions again?
I mean,
like I remember seeing The Hateful Eight when they were doing the road show, and they had and that movie's like what 2 hours 50.
I like the idea of an intermission. Yeah. You know what I mean?
But I will say during that movie, and maybe because that movie's a bit of a slog, but like I was like, hey, this is nice. This is a nice intermission.
It is nice to get up.
10 minutes. Go. Your seats are already reserved. Mm-hmm. You can't lose those. So, I don't know. I mean, I feel like the Irishman definitely could have done with an intermission. Mm-hmm. Sure.
I think if it's a movie that's like demanding 3 to 3.5 hours, you're like, okay, yeah, throw in an intermission. Do I necessarily want an intermission like through every movie I see?
No. Not every movie, but like after a certain time slot, like okay. We're gonna
mandatory,
yeah. Like Miguel, I think you've mentioned this before. Like whenever you got the Green Mile tape cassette, like VHS, that movie stopped at its place.
Yes,
right?
2 VHSs in one box.
Right. So, like, if there was like a natural point in the movie where you could be like, all right, this chapter is over. They did it with the director's cut of The Kingdom of Heaven, which is a great movie.
Literally, no one has ever said that.
Like 3 hours. Oh, everybody
says Kingdom of Heaven is a good movie.
Yeah,
3
hours and
I like to talk shit. I don't give a fuck. At me, all right?
At me.
That director's cut
but add us that punch
3 hours and 20 minutes. But they had a nice slot in there where they put an intermission.
I'm going to end up going on a ton of tangents if I keep talking, so I'm going to shut up. But I just want you to know, Ed, I rewatched Troy recently for the first time. I made Kristen watch it with me. And she, at one point, like we did it over a couple nights, and she at one point was like, I don't want to watch Troy anymore.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, all right, that's cool.
It's got some great fights.
Yeah. It's that like one moment when he runs up and boom, you know what I mean?
Yep. That fight between Brad Pitt and Eric Bana is epic.
Didn't even get to it.
Just go on YouTube and watch it.
That's the best bit. Like after that, I turn it off. But
that's the cutoff.
That fight is like one of the best sword fights in cinema history.
We'll talk about it.
Cinema history, Ed.
I'd put it in the running.
All right.
Next week's poll. Next week's list. Top 10 list.
He's writing it down. He's like,
good job, Ed.
Top 10 sword fights.
Wait, mute him. He's about to write a lot.
I'm done.
Okay, Ed was talking about how long he'd stay in a movie. I'm going to be very honest about something here. There was a moment when Avengers Endgame was coming out, and I did look up to get tickets for the Marvel Marathon that was coming out at El Capitan, where they were going to do 22 Marvel movie marathon spanning over 3 days, 64 hours. And I was like, how much are those tickets? Are they still available?
No.
And I legitimately was going like, how many days can I take off of work? Will I do this? Will I? And I was close to do it just because I want to be part of the event, you know? But I mean,
Sarah talked you out of it, I assume.
Yeah, I mean, just my conscience talked me out of it, you know, like just I couldn't take off of work that much.
That's a stinky little number.
That's what it said. I'm reading this tweet by Herb Scribner. We are all smelly feet. We are the popcorn we've consumed. We are the trash we've thrown away. And they're just images of people passed out. But I mean, what a moment. 22 movie marathon. I mean, I would have done it. But
no.
One day.
I think back to that Dark Knight showing that we did, the marathon.
Yeah. Oh,
that was a stretch.
God, that was so
Miguel,
fun.
you want to know my limits? That was my limit.
Okay, that's fair. 3 2-hour movies. So yeah, six.
Yeah.
6 and some change. Oh, sorry.
It overcame you.
I don't even have time to get through this.
You came up too quickly, yeah.
Well, needless to say, Oppenheimer's 2 hours and 30 minutes. And we should play a game where we try to guess what the runtime of movies are next time. But too late. I've already spoiled it for us for these next movies.
Yeah, spoilers.
Spoilers. This movie is 2 hours and 45 minutes. Do you want to guess, audience members? TikTok. It's Blonde, starring Ana de Armas. Ana de Armas. Okay?
De Armas.
She's playing a
This is coming to Netflix, right?
Yes, coming to Netflix September 23rd. So you'll be able to pause.
Release somewhere.
Well, I'm sure it will, right? Because I'm sure it wants an Oscar.
They just did that with Grey Man, yeah. Maybe, yeah, like very limited.
Let's see, Blonde.
I would see it.
Well, because the director is like
at Cinemark,
really renowned.
I have to. Yeah, Andrew Dominic.
Yes,
and he's a very visually stylish, director. So. Yeah, I'm here for it. I think the trailer looked great. You can tell it's going to be very dark, very distressing. And
I did read. This is just mainly me talking out loud for myself. I don't know about you guys, but I did read that this is not a legitimate truth. Whatever. I'm sorry. Hang on. Let me take a step back. I've had 3 beers tonight.
It's based on a book.
It's based on a book. It's not the actual telling or like the biopic of Marilyn Monroe.
Right.
It's like based on a fictional book. I didn't know this until recently. So I think that kind of paints it a little bit differently for me. Or at least it puts me in the right mind frame to see the movie. It's like, okay, I don't have to walk away going like, oh, this was a true story. Yeah.
No, I don't think this is like a standard biopic, but it's, probably like a behind the scenes look of probably what that was going on in her life. And obviously her and people like Elvis all had shit going on that ultimately led to their early demise. So it's sad. But I'm very much looking forward to this one. It's like at the top of my list.
At home, we'll watch.
It's interesting. It's interesting you say that it's like being based off of a book because a lot of the shots that I see, they're meticulously trying to imitate reality on all these famous like pictures and shots and things like that. So it's a nice blend of like really
Andrew Dominic.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, go for it.
He's commented on it saying that a majority of the movie takes place around real events, only they're filling in the dialogue, as it were.
Right.
If that makes sense. Like these, like you said, these brief moments in her career that she was famous for or whatever. Like everything, the context of those moments, I guess.
I will say
what he's trying to capture.
Brief update. I'm in the middle of watching season 2 of Mad Men, and they just had an episode where Marilyn Monroe dies at the beginning of the episode, and the whole office is like forlorn. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everyone's like crying and like upset, and like Don Draper comes in and is like, "Get to work." He's such a fucking asshole.
Wasn't that the thing? During that time, it's like, are you a Jackie or are you a Marilyn? Didn't they say that in Mad Men? Like, where they were talking about, like, what's your image, you know? Because those are like the two.
Or an Audrey. Like Audrey Hepburn.
Have you seen the show, Ed?
Mad Men?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Have you seen it all the way through?
Yeah.
Shit. I need to see it all the way through. We can talk about this when we're into, because it's, man, I just need to take a vacation and watch and play everything. But, you know, Tar, new trailer came out. A new trailer came out called Tar, or is it Tar? Or it has a funny little accent. Tar.
Man.
I have no idea.
Tar.
Tar.
I don't know.
This trailer threw me for a loop. I was watching it before we started recording tonight, and Luis jumped on while I was still watching it.
Yeah.
And like the first 2 minutes of the trailer or whatever is who's in this movie? Who is that?
Kate Blanchett.
Kate Blanchett. I kept thinking what's her name from fuck it, never mind. Hereditary is who I'm thinking of.
Toni Collette.
Yeah. I kept wanting to say Terry, but the first 2 minutes of the trailer, is all this smoke coming out, and I thought it was going to be like a no smoking ad type of movie. Like
I thought it was too, because it's called like Tar with nicotine,
smoking, cancer. Yes, you know what I mean. And then all of a sudden, she's like, she's like conducting this orchestra, and I was just like, "What is happening? This is not the direction I thought this trailer was going at all." And so now I'm like, "Okay, I'll watch it." Yes.
I did think it was like an anti-smoking movie or some sort of thing, because it was called Tar well. So this is the plot on IMDb: the life of a renowned musician and composer Lydia Tar, as she records a symphony that will take her formidable career to new heights. I did like the trailer. It seemed, ominous and interesting. About this foreboding.
From Todd Field. The last movie he did was Little Children back in 2006.
Okay.
So this is his first. Before that was In the Bedroom. Both critically acclaimed films, and they're both very good. So I'm very excited to see him working with Kate Blanchett, who obviously is one of the best actresses out there.
Love her. Drama musical is what it says this is going to be.
Nice bit of classical music. Yeah, I'm here for it.
It's 2 hours and 38 minutes. I'm cool with that. Listen.
God damn it.
I watched the trailer on this. I'm taking this to a technical side. When the smoke was happening, it looked very cool. But then I was like, this looks kind of pixelated, and I wish I got to see a higher version, and also looked kind of fake too. There's a moment where it kind of
fake.
Yeah, it pulled me away, and I was like, why does this look so fake? I want to see a cleaner version of it,
I was just sitting there watching that trailer going, it must be so awkward for actors sometimes, because she just opened her mouth and they're like, we'll do it in post. It's fine. Just open your mouth. And so she was just like, you know what I mean? The entire time.
Well, I think it was filmed slow motion, so she didn't have to hold it for too long.
No, I refuse.
But also, I wonder, she must have blown a little bit of smoke, and they were like, "Oh, that wasn't enough smoke. We need to add more in post." You know what I mean? On a separate account, I want to go back to Oppenheimer, because the fact that I'm saying that this looked low quality on YouTube, on Oppenheimer, two funny things are happening. One, the only way that you can truly officially see this trailer, I think, is two ways. One, on Universal's YouTube website, and they're playing it like a live video, repeated over and over and over again. It's very strange, but it's been happening for like a week now or something like that for some time. So if you go to Universal's YouTube, it'll play Oppenheimer. I think it's pinned at the top of their page. It's like a TV where it's just on repeat over and over and over again. I've never seen anything like that. But then if you go to the website too, you'll say, I want to watch this, and it will force you to go full screen no matter what. Like, you cannot minimize it. You can't change the size. It's forcing you. And it plays it on very good quality. Like, I was pretty proud about that. I think when they were doing the Batman and they were releasing trailers for that, he released on Vimeo, and you got to see like the grain and the clarity of things where things weren't pixelated, and you didn't see a lot of artifacts. And so I really appreciated that. And Oppenheimer, on their website, the resolution is fantastic, and you get to see it crystal clear. But when you minimize that window, because that's what happened to me, like, oh, I want to minimize it, it ends it, and it just forces you to stop watching this trailer. And it says, would you like to watch it again? Is what a button says. And so every time you watch it, it will force full screen, and it will play all the way through, which I thought was very interesting. Awesome. I just like these little tactics of how people present their media.
It's just Christopher Nolan trolling everyone.
Yeah, but it's cool because it's sometimes people just make a movie and leave it up to the PR department to do whatever they want. But when people take ownership of it, it's cool. Like I like, even though it's very particular, I still like somebody who's so involved.
It's reminiscent of the Dark Knight ad campaign where they released like a website and you had to like solve clues to see clips or trailers or whatever. Very Nolan.
It's very cool. So these are movies that we have to wait for, but and coming soon, we already seen the trailer, we've already seen the movie. Lightyear is coming out on Disney Plus. The famous box office failure is coming out. What is this? 8/3, August the 3rd. Oh wait, that's today.
That's today.
Oh well, we're recording this on Wednesday.
No, it's
but Friday.
It's already out.
It's already out.
On Disney Plus.
God
it'll
damn
be
it.
there.
It's
Today,
already there.
right
Yeah, it's already happened. What else has happened? Good Night Mommy remake is happening. It's being released on September 16th. I don't know what that is, but it's coming.
It's well, I guess this is a remake, but it's a horror movie.
Okay.
And it was, where was it set? I keep wanting to say, but it's Austrian. It was an Austrian horror film that I saw in theaters, actually.
Okay.
And it was really good, really unsettling. And it's interesting that it's being remade so many years later with Naomi Watts, who doesn't like her? She's great. So anyway, I hadn't heard about it up until this point, so it's a surprise. Maybe it's like being swept under the rug, but piqued my interest.
Well, it's coming up on Prime Video September 16th. She-Hulk is being moved from Wednesday to Thursday. Makes sense because there's a time when we were watching Obi-Wan Kenobi and Ms. Marvel on the same day, on a Wednesday. So Disney Plus is fixing that. It's crazy because like there was a time when Star Wars was coming out on a Friday and Marvel was on a Friday, then Marvel moved to Wednesday, and then like Star Wars went back to Wednesday, and I hope they're figuring this out. But She-Hulk is now moving to Thursday, August 18th. 9 episodes. Again, let's see. Prey will be out, so you can watch that. I'm excited to see that movie. Prey, Assembled. Miss Marvel, the behind the scenes of Miss Marvel is out as well. And Bullet Train. Bullet Train is out.
Pew.
We're talking about Bullet Train. I think it's the perfect time to talk about our summer box office movie update. Dun, 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 dun. So before we talk about Bullet Train, let's throw it to Ed Ball, who's going to walk us through some of the updates for the summer box office.
All right. Hey, Luis, I'm reading this, so why didn't you highlight what you want me to talk about? But I'm going to kick it off with Nope. So before Nope's release, Miguel and I, Luis was at Comic-Con, of course. Miguel and I made little bets on how much Nope would bring in, and sure enough, we were way off.
What were your bets?
I think I said 100 mil, I think.
Yeah.
And
I said somewhere
Miguel
in
was
the 90 range.
90. Yeah.
And
so we both had high hopes for this film.
We just wanted it, and I've said this a million times now, I just wanted it to succeed. You know what I mean? We just wanted to do well.
And it did. It did. It came in at number 1 with 44 million, which is more than Get Out made in its opening weekend. So, but it's less than what Us made. So, not bad. And then on its second week, it did drop down to 2, but it's currently at 80 million now, and it's ranked 8 on our overall box office lineup. So, like, right behind Black Phone, which is sure to overtake. I think it's going to overtake Lightyear.
You think Black Phone's going to overtake Lightyear?
No, I think Nope is going to overtake Lightyear.
I think Nope is going to move on.
I think it'll get further than Elvis, but obviously not as far as Thor.
I would love Nope to land at number 5. Nope was my number 5. So if it could go all the way up there, that'd be great.
I really hope it does. I feel like it will. Just to go over it again, I think these are locked into play. Ed, why don't you go over the top movies again? Because I think the top 4 are locked, and they won't be moving. Yeah.
Okay. So with the highest, Top Gun has been reigning supreme. It's currently at 650 million. It ranked still at number 5 this past week, which is just nuts. Jurassic World Dominion is kind of slowing down. It's at 369 million. It ranked in 9 this last weekend. Minions Rise of Gru is at number 3 with 320. Thor is right behind at 301. That dropped down to 3rd this last weekend. So it's still holding up there. Elvis has been just smooth sailing. It's been pretty consistent, but it's up to 129 million right now, which I'm glad that movie's making money. It deserves it.
Yeah.
I would say go out there and give it a try. Black Phone is doing pretty well, 83 million. Oh, did I skip over Lightyear? Lightyear is at number 6 with 117. That movie won't be making any more money, especially now that it's on Disney Plus. And then Nope is at number 8 with 80 million. Where the Crawdads Sing with 53 million. Sarah just read that book, by the way. Luis, didn't you say you read it?
I did read the book, yeah. Did she see it?
But you haven't seen the movie?
No, has she seen the movie?
No, not yet.
Okay. I ask her if she... Well, whatever. I'll talk to her later when I see y'all guys.
All right. And then after that, it's the Bob's Burgers movie, which finished out at 31. Super Pets, which came in at number 1 this last weekend, made 23 million. That's The Rock and...
Kevin Hart.
Kevin Hart. I know he doesn't go by The Rock anymore, but it's just easier that way. Paws of Fury at 16 million. Marcel, the Shell, is at 4 million. The little shell that could. Aww. And then at the bottom, and I included this because I forgot that Miguel had put it in his Dark Horse section, but Crimes of the Future finished. I mean, it's long gone out of theaters. Only made 2.4 million. So that just leaves us with Bullet Train, which comes out today, which is Friday, that you'll be listening to this. See what I did there, guys?
You did, yeah, you did a good job.
So this is kind of like this movie's getting some hype. Like, everybody that I talked to said, oh yeah, I want to see that, it looks fun. So I thought it would be fun to do another box office prediction for its opening weekend. I'm going to go ahead and say it's probably not going to be 100 million, like I guessed for Nope. But yeah, what do you guys think?
I'm going to say $55 million.
Ooh, okay.
I'm going to say 35 million.
55. Okay. What I wrote down was 39. I think just a little bit higher than you, Luis.
I think you might be right.
Shall I go ahead and say 40 and keep it?
No, keep it 39. Commit.
All right, you said 35.
Yeah.
All right, 35, 55, and 39.
I'm gonna stick with 55. I don't care. Yeah. I don't give a fuck anymore about this.
That's okay.
I got that fucking update the other day, last week or whatever, and I was just like, man, fuck this shit. I don't give a fuck about this shit anymore. I don't care. Oh, fucking. Did Minions do really well? Thank fucking Christ. Oh,
yeah,
Jesus.
I remember you shat all over me when I said how high I had Minions on my list, but
well, you know what?
Are.
I just didn't think that the sequel to the spinoff or whatever, was going to do so well.
Yeah.
And yeah, as I said, you just got so lucky that these fucking Gen Zers or whatever were like, oh, Minions.
Oh, the kids would have seen it too. The kids would have seen it too.
I don't think it would have been as big had there not been like a big meme movement.
I think so too. It would have been a lot lower on the list.
Well, I think a lot of parents probably asked for their money back too. So
it's probably
hindered it.
I think what made it do so well was the fact that they used that Eminem song. You know what I mean? Eminem, when he wrote that song, he was like, "This is your moment," and he was like, "Not 8 Mile, Minions. This is my moment."
Wait, is there really an Eminem song about the Minions?
He
Are you fucking with me?
No, they used in the trailer. They used his song.
Oh, okay.
Lose yourself.
Lose yourself in the moment. You want it.
I don't remember that.
Once they got Minions going. Or,
you guys like the Minions?
No.
You know, they're a laugh.
No.
They're not the
They're
worst.
like cilantro. People either hate them or love them. I was going to, before we leave the box office update section, I wanted to point out one interesting fact here. A lot of movies that are being released, they are opening up to about, 4,500, 3,000 theaters. Marcel with shoes on, who is what? In the top 13?
Yeah.
Oh,
all of these movies, thousands. Marcel with shoes on, 821 theaters.
Wow.
I mean,
and that's expanded. Like they're kind of doing what they did with Everything Everywhere All at Once.
It's funny because when I wrote this down a couple weeks ago or some time ago, I wrote 590 theaters, and then I look. I think that was last week or a week and a half, and now I'm looking it up now on Box Office Mojo, 821 theaters. And so, you have Bob's Burgers, 3,425, Black Phone, 3,156, Nope, 3,807. And Marcel is just under 1K, like rocking in these numbers. Like good for this movie. I really want to see it, but there's only so much time and so many bills to pay. Well, that is the news of the week. But before we move on to our feature discussion of Nope, I would like to say that this podcast is sponsored by us, Punch Drunk Nerd. Punch Drunk Nerd is sponsored by Punch Drunk Nerd. Please, we are a small little podcast, and we would love to have your support. Dropping 5 stars into Apple Podcasts really helps. On YouTube, we're on Spotify. Give us a like, subscribe. Help us out to let other people know who we are. I want to say we had some reviews get dropped into Punch Drunk Nerd on our podcast. I want to shout out real quick. And you too, if you do leave a review on Punch Drunk Nerd, you will have a little shout out. Here's the first one from K. Lee Berry. These guys are great for keeping me in the know on nerd news from the internet. I don't normally follow these topics, but they're keeping it interesting. Each episode gets better and better. Thank you. It's the best show since FX the Bear. Wow. I love it. Georgina Emma 94 says, easygoing podcast. Funny. Good listen. Thank you. And you too can have a shout out in this podcast. All you got to do is go to your Apple Podcast and leave us a review. And write up some stuff, and we'll give you a shout out, and you'll be making our day. Okay. And we're on YouTube. And we would love to have more subscribers so that we can finally lock down youtube.com/punchdrunknerd. Unfortunately, until we get 100 subscribers, we can't do that. Right now, we're youtube.com/channel/UCE3JEO-BVIHWNASR. We're a long URL. So we can't have a personalized YouTube name. We need more, but that's okay. We're going to keep doing this because we love it and you love it and we love you guys. So That's the end of the sponsorship. Let's get to the feature discussion of Nope, directed by Jordan Peele. This has Keke Palmer, Daniel Kaluuya, Stephen Yeun, Barbie Ferreira, Brandon Perea, Michael Wincott, and Keith David. I butchered some names there. Two siblings who run a California house ranch discover something wonderful. They run a California horse ranch from the beginning. From horse ranch.
Horse ranch.
Thank you.
Elevators.
You're be a man. Did you know that the first images were a black man riding a horse? And that horse was run by this company. No, they run a California horse ranch, and they discover something wonderful and sinister in the skies above. I don't know if it would be wonderful. While the owner of an adjacent theme park tries to profit from the mysterious otherworldly phenomenon. All right. I mean, listen, we all saw it on IMAX, which is pretty cool. We all saw it on the format. Again, I like to say that this was a DP who worked on Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight Rises and his other
Hoyt van Hoytema.
From Dark Knight Rises on to his future movies, this was the DP that worked on IMAX stuff, and so Jordan Peele picked him up to kind of get his, use his knowledge, use his noggin to make this into an IMAX event. All right, I mean, let's open up the floodgates. What did we think of Nope?
Miguel, it's freshest on your mind. Let's hear it.
So, first off, I just want to say that I don't think I saw it on like a true IMAX screen or whatever.
Fine. That's okay.
I remember walking away from it going, it was hours ago. I just didn't get that same feel. Like in Houston, there at the Regal Cinema or whatever, they have like a true IMAX screen. And It's like the sound, the screen, everything you feel like engulfed by it. I remember we saw like several movies, but like one just off the top of my head was Gravity. Like I remember feeling like I was gonna fall into space. You know what I mean? With Sandra Bullock in that movie. And in this one, it just felt like a regular screen, really. Just as far as like my perspective. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
So I was a little let down. Like I wasn't like drawn into it. But no, actually, you guys, I don't know about you. I'm a dumbass, but I walked away from that movie going like, I have no idea what just happened. Like it didn't click with me. I didn't get it. I didn't understand like the key things that I was supposed to take away from it. I was just like, and I maybe drank a little too many beers like today. You know what I mean? Like, oops, you know what I mean? But no, I had no idea what was happening. After like 20 minutes into the film, I was like, I'm lost. I have no idea what's going on.
Is there anything you have questions about? I guess
I would really love for you guys to tell me what I saw. I went and watched like one of those like, you jump on YouTube and they're like the ending of the movie explained.
The ending
or whatever.
Explained, yeah.
Yeah, and I watched that whole video. It was like 20 minutes.
Of course.
And I was just like, oh shit, was I supposed to get like all of this?
Right.
I had no idea. Like there was names I didn't catch. Like they were calling the alien ship something. I didn't get if it was like a ship or if it's alien itself.
It's definitely an alien.
It's an alien.
It was eating people.
Yes.
And the monkey thing, I didn't understand. I didn't understand the correlation between the monkey and the alien. But I was invested. I don't think anyone was doing a bad job whatsoever. I think I was just lost. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I will say I've heard some talks about the Gordo story, and the monkey. It's just like some people are like, I don't see the connection. I don't understand what's going on, and I feel like what he's doing is something that movies used to do a really long time ago, where they have these thematic scenes that maybe don't tie into the story narratively. I mean, it does influence Stephen Yeun's character a little bit on like how he moves forward in life,
and how he perceives horror or trauma,
right, and how he handles trauma. But I think for the most part, that Gordo story is just kind of like an example of what happens to exploitation, what happens to trauma. It's just a thematic like side story that happens to kind of further along the themes of the movie, you know. And I don't think that that's a thing that happens a lot in movies these days, where it's just kind of like point A to point B to point C to point D, which is fine.
Sure.
But I think it's just like one of those older time cinematic tools of like, let me visually showcase a theme throughout. And it is like disturbing and it is uncomfortable and it is like a horror movie. And so it just adds to the uncomfortableness as you watch it, because you're like, wait, what's going on? Why are we seeing this monkey going back? What happened to the plot? Where are we? I think that confusion is intentional and it's supposed to make you feel unsettling. But I think from what I was interpreting it is, because it took me time to digest it for sure. I didn't come out of that movie like I understood everything. Like I was like on my drive home thinking about this movie and I was with people and I was like, do you guys understand why this? I was talking it out with them. But that's kind of where I landed about the Gordo story. Just being like a thematic example of, you know, exploitation. Ed.
And it kind of parallels,
yeah.
How they deal with the alien. Or how they approach the alien. They start realizing that it's like a predator. It's like alpha. You can
only push them so far.
Protecting his territory. He's being territorial.
Yeah.
Just like the monkey became, or the ape, whatever. And then was abruptly killed in kind of like a...
Right. They did this thing. They used to do this thing. I remember I learned in theater. They had like, before a show started, they would have a dumb play before the actual play itself. And the dumb play would be like a scene or something that happens that kind of tells you what's going to happen in the movie ahead of time. You know, it's like just by watching the first scene or by the first thing, that is like you're getting a sneak peek into the arc of the whole movie. So the Gordo story is kind of like a dumb play, but instead of it just playing up top, it's playing throughout. Yeah, I mean, that's like you said, Ed, that's kind of what happened to them. The Stephen Yeun character was exploiting this alien character, and then what happens when you push him too far, you know, and obviously there's also
thinks he can,
but he was, it's kind of the situation where when people are grown in an environment of trauma or whatever, they take that and then they use that as well, you know what I mean? But there's so many themes too where this movie was dealing with grief as well, where the father kind of passed away and they were kind of finding their place and footing. In the middle of all this, that was as they were dealing with this trauma and grief, there's a fucking alien there, like who we thought was a spaceship. And then when that moment came out, we're like, I don't think it's an alien ship. I think it's the alien, or however he said it. I was like, I like that. You know, I did like that turn when we realized it was actually an alien.
It was different.
Yeah.
Just to go back a little bit to the monkey scene, or that monkey parallel. Like when Stephen Yeun is first talking about it to them, the Daniel Kaluuya and Keke Palmer characters, he's describing it. He doesn't describe it directly as it happened. He describes it through an SNL skit.
I loved that. I thought that was such a cool way. Sorry, I don't mean to talk over you.
No, hey, you loved it. That's great. But yeah, I thought that was like a very interesting, like, development, or just like staging of that character, and then seeing that he has this secret room where like he has the shoe with blood on it. It's like he's taken this very traumatic event from his childhood
and exploiting it,
and that's the only way he can
process it, or
even talk about it. It's like it was actually very funny on SNL. They did
he said they did it more justice than I could tell you, or whatever. You know what I mean? And I thought that was an interesting point, that like this like comical retelling of the event is how he would prefer to
process it.
Remember it or tell you about it, because it's easier than being like, oh no, this shit happened and it was very traumatic.
I will also say on a side note here that has nothing to do, but the fact that that in this movie they casted Chris Kattan as the monkey is incredible.
I had no idea.
Well, when he's telling the story, he's actually labeling actors who played the parts in the thing. He was like,
Sherry
O'Terry. I love Sherry O'Terry. Sherry O'Terry. And Chris Kattan, he's like, and Chris Kattan played the monkey beautifully, is what he said, or something like that. And I remember watching SNL during those days when Chris Kattan literally was playing a monkey character. And if you go in, he does play, I forget the name of the character, but he does. There's one where he does it with The Rock, and they're both like the monkey. But I just thought that was so fun how, like, in real life, Chris Kattan did do a bit where he played a monkey, and the fact that they were able to utilizing that into the thing. I thought that was.
I thought you meant every actor he mentioned was they portrayed those characters in the scene we saw in the movie. I thought you were saying Chris Kattan like put on a suit and played the monkey like Caesar in in Planet of the Apes. I was like, oh shit, okay, Jordan Peele.
I was like, I was looking because I didn't know who Chris Kattan was, so I had to look it up real quick.
Corky Romano,
yeah,
he was. You guys like to buy some cookies?
It was Mr. Peppers is the character he played on Chris Kattan, I think, and The Rock was his dad. It's a really funny sketch. But
speaking of The Rock, he also talks about how his
the Scorpion King.
The Scorpion King.
That was like his first movie that he worked with his dad on. And I was just like, damn, they really did go with camels. I've seen that movie a million times. There was no horses barely.
And he's wearing that hoodie throughout the end.
Yes. Yeah.
The Scorpion King hoodie.
Oh, it says, yeah.
On another side note, I went to Universal's, what's it called? They have the Universal theme park here in LA, but they have like the Universal City Walk. At the Universal City Walk is the only true IMAX in LA. So if you want to see IMAX, you go to the Universal City Walk, and there they had costumes of Keke Palmer and Daniel Kaluuya. And the costume they had for Daniel was the Scorpion King hoodie.
That's awesome.
That's cool.
So maybe I'll send you a picture of that. But yeah, that was
if we're lucky.
If you're lucky, yeah.
Yeah.
Send me a couple bucks. You know what I mean?
I also feel like and I said this before we started recording, but I feel like the disservice that I did to this movie was the fact that I got up twice to go pee. And I really thought I was like choosing the right moments. Like, okay, I'll come back in like 2 minutes and I'll still understand what's going on. But I definitely don't remember the moment where they said, oh, it's an alien, not a spaceship. I just by the end of the movie picked that up. I was like, oh, that's not right. It looks like a mouth.
I think when it said like the way there's a scene where it kind of goes over the mountain hill, or like it like rolls and then goes over the hill. And at that moment, he's like, it doesn't move like a ship. Is I think the words like it doesn't move like a ship.
Yeah.
And you want to know something? That was right when I went to go pee. I remember it doing that. I remember it going over the mountain and being like, "I'll be right back. I gotta go pee."
Yeah, I think after that he was like, "It doesn't move like a ship," and that's when we're like, "Oh, wait a second, are we not
dumbass?
Are we not dealing with that?" And then that scene where he finally goes to after it sucks up all the people at the ranch, and he sees them and it's coming, and see this big ass mouth sucking everything.
Yeah.
Those are one of the few moments I did like the IMAX, but I'm with you, Miguel, where I feel like I was a little bit underwhelmed with the IMAX experience when I thought it was going to be all the way through. I think there were some gems that happened, but it wasn't something that it wasn't ongoing, you know?
Yeah.
I know there's troubles with IMAX, like in intimate scenes with dialogue, because it's very loud. It's a very loud machine. But
I feel like they've fixed that though, haven't they? Like over the years, especially with Christopher Nolan, haven't they advanced that?
That's what I don't know enough, and I would love to bring somebody who knows about that stuff. But I know, and I think what they've done is they do digitally IMAX, because for Avengers, like Endgame, the whole I think one of those like the whole movie is IMAX, like intimate scenes. I think they can do that because it is digital. But here they wanted to do everything through film, and so I'm guessing that's why we cut back to like normal ratio for those dialogue scenes.
I don't know if that happened with mine. I didn't ever notice that.
It did.
I will say that like some of the guys that I was with said that they didn't feel like the IMAX experience was necessary.
Yeah,
but it's still visually, it's not like, obviously, it's not showing you like space and stuff. I mean, the picture is gorgeous. Like the film is really great, and I thought moments like when he's getting chased by the alien down the strip.
Those are cool moments. Yes,
the alien, when the house is getting drenched in blood.
Such a good moment when the house
that
is
was
getting
such
drenched
a
with blood.
cool scene. I was just like,
yeah.
oh my god, this is so just visceral and intense. It's just like, how horrifying would that be?
I love that
because you knew exactly what he just sucked up. And and then like that scene where they're actually inside the alien.
Yes.
Oh man,
those things are so otherworldly because you're so used to seeing everything else, and then you're like, "What am I seeing right now?" And it just completely shifts the look of the film when they're kind of being digested into this alien's body. And they're crawling up.
And you think like, oh my god, what is happening? And no, it's just screams and stuff.
Yeah,
you realize where all the coins and shit are coming from.
Yeah,
all the flying, disposed of trinkets or whatever.
Right,
man. I loved all of those details, and whether it was worth the IMAX, I don't know. I mean, I still enjoyed it. I think. Yeah, I know.
What, did you miss that part too, Miguel?
Thing. I gotta watch this movie again because I said, I got lost pretty quick into it, and at one point I was just trying to keep up. Like, what is happening? I'm looking at this, I'm looking at that, I'm peeing over here. I feel like I did a disservice to this movie. I definitely need to go back and see it again.
I went into it when we first started watching it. And it opens with that whole Gordo stuff. Then it cuts to present day or whatever. And you don't really understand the connection at all.
Yeah.
But I remember telling myself, like, because I was thinking, like, where is this going? How does this tie in?
Yeah.
And then I was like, ignore it. Just press on.
Yeah.
I felt myself, and I, like, you do that with, I feel like going into movies like by Jordan Peele or Christopher Nolan, you find yourself like just overlooking, trying to find every little fucking thing.
Yes.
And it gets so convoluted. Like I remember trying to do that with Tenet.
I was just about to say.
Instinctively, because you're trying to like, but then that movie just gets so overwhelmingly. No, you can't keep up. So I tried to stop myself, and I don't think I did.
That's a really
because like I enjoyed it, but like I know what you mean. I guess is what I'm saying. It's like
that's a really good point.
I went into it and I started looking for whatever like similarities or what the fuck is what are they laying out here?
I was even trying to like keep notes on my phone for a little bit, and then it just became like I just can't do this because then I'm just like too into my phone trying to keep up with it. Yeah. You're absolutely right. I really should have just tried to be a little more along for the ride and then like dissect it later.
I mean, sometimes you just can't help it, but especially with a movie kind of like this, you kind of want to catch it all at once. But sometimes you get so focused on stuff. And I was just like agreeing with you because I felt myself going down that rabbit hole, and then I held back, and then I was just like, oh, I'm here for this movie.
Well, it's like, especially when you watch like other YouTube videos or like articles like, well, when this happened and this happened, this obviously set this up, and there's like, God damn, like I don't want to be fooled. I want to make sure I keep up with it too.
You want to catch those things.
I want to catch those things too. Like I could be just as smart as you, YouTube video. You know what I mean? And like that's why I'm always looking like, okay, he stepped with his left foot and he's doing it again, and he's like,
see,
this is a red room. So what does that mean? You know what I mean? Like you're just trying to digest everything.
Lately, and maybe it's because of the podcast and I'm just thinking about movies more recently, but I really am trying to tell myself like watch a movie 2 or 3 times, like really like let it soak in, see what's going on, understand the themes, pick up on those things, because that first viewing is just so hard to catch everything or to really understand the scope of the story that's being told.
Especially with a movie like this where it's not so easily like you can get swept away with it, that they kind of give you information when they decide it's necessary, but all the while it's been kind of like mysterious and you don't know what's what for sure. So and that can impact how you feel about a movie. Absolutely, like it can really make or break it, and it sucks. But I mean, overall, I enjoyed this film coming out of it, but like I instantly felt like I really want to see that again.
Same.
Yeah.
It's one of those films that will definitely kind of lend itself to more viewings. Not that I had a bad time the first time, but more just like there's a lot to unlock.
I will say, as far as like a trilogy, like quote unquote trilogy goes, like this is a great showing for Jordan Peele. You know what I mean? You have Get Out, Us, and Nope. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's like a Sunday right there. Like, let me watch all three of these back to back. Let me see the style.
Now,
you know what I mean?
If you had to rank those three in order, how would you rank them?
As of now, I would be Get Out, Nope, Us.
Okay. I would flip those just a little
Tentatively.
bit. Get Out for sure, number one. I would put in order, you know what I mean? Like Us and then Nope, just because I really want to go back and watch Nope again, because I feel like I just really biffed it. But Us was really good. Surprisingly,
I really enjoyed Us. I don't think
I had a question. Now I want to throw a question at you about Us. I thought there was a lot of stunning visuals, and I think he does a really good job of establishing, especially with this. Well, he's great at establishing stunning visuals, and I think in this movie he did very stunning, simple visuals. But in Us, as stunningly as it was, how did you feel about the ending? Because I felt like we had all this mystery up top, and then at the end, at the underground, and like the student, like in the classroom scene, it was just like a vomit of exposition. Do you know what I mean? And that was like one thing that kind of put me in a, I don't know. It left a bad. It left me. It left a bad aftertaste in my mouth after watching Us, because it was like mystery, and here's everything that happened. Okay, and then we finished the movie. That's why I would put Nope, even though as confusing as it is, or as like, I don't know, not as clear or whatever, as simple as it is, I put it as Get Out, Nope, and then Us, just because I don't know.
That can improve or deteriorate with more viewings.
But I'm interested to know how you felt about that exposition at the end. Like, you know, did it not bother you? Were you okay with it? Was there a reason why you were fine with it? Things like that.
I liked it. I remember thinking, oh, I understand now, like, what's this whole like twist the entire time has been like this one character uprising, and then you realize, oh, it's like it's her. She's the original. And then I guess I was just kind of so caught up in that. Like, I want to call it the twist, but I don't think that's like the right, maybe twist.
It felt like the twist moment for me. You're right. Like, it was like, here's the twist, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. I bought into it, but you know me, like sometimes like I'll straight up buy into something. And then and then if it's shitty, I'll be like, I don't give a fuck. I already bought into it. You know what I mean?
Well, then, because after that, you're swept into that one moment where like, I forget, like the car fire scene explosion and things like that. Like a lot of shit went down, and you're like, "Oh fuck, this is cool," because that was cool.
I will say, as far as all three of these movies goes, I just saw Nope today, but I haven't seen Us more than once. I haven't seen Nope more than once, but I have seen Get Out 2 or 3 times.
Yeah,
and maybe it's just I need to see both of these other movies a good handful more times to really like solidify my opinions on them.
Yeah. I need to see Us again for sure.
Me too. I do need to see Us again. After coming out of Nope.
Let's do a little like group watch.
Marathon.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. We'll do a marathon.
But let me ask you guys something about Nope. Back to Nope. We talked about Oppenheimer playing right before it. I don't know about you guys, but my theater played. I guess they're doing like an anniversary re-release of Jaws in IMAX.
Oh yeah,
man! I gotta say. I have never seen Jaws.
Me neither. Like I've never seen Jaws.
I think we talked about this recently. It's like a classic, like one you really want to see. And I was kind of hyped when I saw that trailer about the re-release. It was like, okay, dude, this might be like the moment to go see this movie again.
Yeah.
I was thinking like whoever placed it there needed a raise because that movie that trailer anyway, lended itself so well to this movie.
Well,
Totally,
right. It is like a
totally.
Jaws type of movie.
is-
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
From what I hear.
Trap it. They've got like a last. I mean, I saw it. I was just like, oh man, it's just like Jaws. And sure enough, they blew up the alien just like Jaws. And two people surviving at the end. Sacrifices along the way. I love that little element about it. I guess I was just curious.
I've watched like a couple of videos after. Nope on YouTube.
I have not. I probably need to get on some of these videos, I guess.
I just do it because, we have, this podcast also forces me to I gotta have things to say.
Hey, we wouldn't force you to do anything.
No, well, please. I like it. I like doing it. It pushes me to do it and to be more insightful.
No, I should. So maybe sometimes I won't sound like a bumbling idiot when I'm trying to talk about movies. But
somebody called out.
Yeah, I'm interested.
Somebody called out about how... they were saying OJ, Daniel Kaluuya's character, that some theorize that he may have died in the end, and that when you see that last shot, there's like these words up top where it says like yonder or something like that, or over yonder.
Open yonder, I think is what it says.
Something like open yonder, and just like how it's kind of like a ghosty image of him. And they were throwing it out there. I was like, oh, I never really thought of it that way. I thought he did survive, and it was just kind of like...
That's how I interpreted it.
You interpreted it as
he died?
That he died.
Yeah, like I said, I was just trying to keep up with what was going on.
You're not the only one who thinks that way. Other people thought too.
That last moment you see him, I was like, oh, he's dead. And this is like a nod to his character or something. One last little ooh... Kind of like the top in Inception, you know what I mean?
Yeah. That's exactly. That's they're alluding to too. I when I watched it, I was like, oh, he's back. But then when they brought it up, I was like, oh, I guess maybe he did. But selfishly, I don't want him to die. You know what I mean?
No.
But
I thought he was definitely alive.
I say, regardless of knowing what was happening in this movie, I fucking love Daniel Kaluuya. You know what I mean? I will see any movie with him from now until the end of time.
That is such a it's such a difficult role to play. That role of what's it called? Because Keke Palmer obviously stole the show, but Daniel Kaluuya did such a good job of being not underwhelmed. What am I trying to say? Subdued and stoic. That is a very difficult trait to play as an actor. But I think he did a stunning job. One moment I'm thinking of is when he's stuck in the truck and the alien's floating on top of the house, and he opens the door, looks up, and he's like,
"It's like nope,"
and he closes it. And he did such a good job. I mean, the theater was laughing when that happened. But yeah, Miguel, I mean, go on about how you love Daniel Kaluuya.
I love him. I'll see him in anything. I mean, I loved the beginning of this movie. That was when I was most focused. I was like, "Yeah, buddy, you go ahead." You know what I mean? You get that horse with them. I felt bad. That was the one scene. You know what I mean? I was just like, gosh, he's over here trying to keep this legacy alive. Yeah. And then the horse, of course, I can't believe I just said horse, of course. Kicks the actress or whatever. And then the next shot you see them, he's walking the horse away, and they're bringing in the green screen horse. And you're just like, oh, fuck, man, dude, you were totally getting the shit into the stick in this industry. You were absolutely getting phased out. And of course, it's the moment you're trying to pick up your father's legacy. And oh no,
that's interesting. Yeah, when you're talking about this is another thing I heard online, but they were bringing in the horse to do the green screen effect, and a lot of people were like, oh, this movie's about the state of filmmaking these days. And, oh, no, this movie's about grief. Oh, no, this movie's about race. Oh, no, this movie's about animals. This movie's about trauma. And so I made a good point that I kind of agree, where people was like, no, this movie's about this one thing. But what I kind of like about this movie is that this movie's about all of those things. And they're all wrapped under this one umbrella where, they can all kind of coexist together in a story. And it's odd. It's kind of simple, and
but it also surprises you, I think, with where it goes. It doesn't do with the alien object not being a ship, turning out to be the actual alien. the look of the alien,
the reveal at the end when it just kept and like you actually
out.
When you actually got to see it spread out and open, and it was just like showing itself.
I was so lost. I was like, all of a sudden it's a butterfly dragonfly looking thing. I was like, oh shit, I don't know what's going on. and yet somehow I caught. Oh yeah, Daniel Kaluuya died. Okay, this is like a ghost.
Yeah, I know. You caught that.
Somehow I was there. Somehow I was right on it. I got to go back and watch this movie.
Ed, I know you didn't see it alone. You saw it with some people, right?
Yeah, I don't always go by myself.
Right.
So this time, I went with my regular guys, I guess. Mike Lindau and Bryce Perkins. So I tried to make it snappy this time by doing the questions being yep or nope questions.
Okay.
It wasn't very well thought out, but it made for snappy answers. So
I like it. I like
so
that.
I'm gonna play Bryce Perkins of the Movie Gap fame. His opinions. All right, I'm here with Bryce Perkins of the Movie Gap fame, and we just saw Nope, and we're going to play a game of Yep or Nope.
Does the blood ritual start now?
Yeah, bend over. Yep.
There you go.
All right, did you like Nope?
Yep.
Would you recommend Nope?
Yep.
Have you seen Jordan Peele's other films, Get Out and Us?
Yep.
Would you rate this better than that?
Only one of them.
So, yep.
Well, but not the other one.
Did you like it in IMAX?
Yep.
Would you recommend it in IMAX?
Yep. For sound.
Okay. And how about that Oppenheimer trailer?
Yep.
Thank you very much, Bryce.
You gotta throw that in there.
I love that game.
All right, and here's Mike Lindauer. All right, I'm here with my buddy Mike Lindauer, and we just saw Nope. And we're going to play a game of Yep or Nope. Mike, did you like Nope?
Yep.
Would you recommend Nope?
Yep.
Have you seen Jordan Peele's other films, Get Out and Us?
Only Get Out.
So Nope. Did you like it in IMAX? I am recording, sir. Excuse me, sir. I'm recording. Did you like it in IMAX?
Yes. Yep.
Would you recommend it in IMAX?
Nope.
How about that Oppenheimer trailer?
Nope.
Ooh.
Hey, man, I'm kind of... as far as the trailer goes... nope.
Nope.
I love how when Bryce was telling us to go watch the movie in IMAX because the sound quality was so good, the sound quality in the interview got so bad.
Oh, sorry.
It echoed.
That's funny.
It echoed while you were saying it. I thought I was going to say something funny, but now it just sounds hurtful now that I hear
it. Yeah. I'm sorry. It was all on my shitty iPhone, Miguel. Good. Is that what you want to hear?
That's what I wanted to hear.
Yeah, you got to update your iPhone, you dumbass. No, I'm kidding. We love you. That's so fun. I love hearing their comments, obviously, from the Movie Gap. Go check them out. Right, one of them.
One of them. Bryce is of the Movie Gap, yeah. And Mike is just a co-worker. And
he's a good dude, Mike. I never met him, but he sounds like a good dude. Yeah, I mean, so that's Nope. Also, one more technical thing I'm going to bring up here. There were some moments when it got really dark, and I'm not against the dark at all. Like kind of like shadowy effect. And there's this thing I do when I edit, when I'm color grading stuff, and I really push the darks. And when I put a lot of effects on them, things start to pixelate because you're really pushing the footage a lot, and things start to break down a little bit. And when I was watching this footage, there was a lot of scenes where it got dark, and you just wanted to see a sliver of light. And it was kind of pixelated feel I was getting, and I was like, oh, this doesn't feel organic, and it makes me actually want to go see it in Dolby Cinema because they have very good like screening. But I don't know if you caught. I know, yeah. I don't know if you caught that, but that's a thing. Any other like filmmakers listen to this? Hit me up at Punch Drunk Nerd if you caught that too. It was a little bit strange, but that's all. That's all I wanted to flag. Thank you. And let's see what else. Is there anything else I wanted to talk about? It was a good
overall
score.
Thoughts. What are just overall thoughts?
I liked it. I want to see it again. If it comes up, I'd love to see it again. I enjoy how simply I don't know. What am I trying to say? Simply confusing it was. Do you know what I mean? Like, not confusing. I just like how simple it was in its way.
It wasn't too, it didn't go out of its way to be confusing or whatever. It was just like
when we're inundated with so much like stuff in your face, it was refreshing for me to feel like to have a simple movie experience. That's all I have to say.
Yep, I was totally lost and confused this entire movie, so I'm glad to know that it was so simple, and I should have just picked up on it.
No, not in the sense where it's simple, like, sorry.
No.
Not like plot-wise.
I was lost.
Not plot-wise. That's not what I mean. Not plot. I'm talking about, like...
The structure, like, it was like I said, it's like Jaws, but there's all this other shit going on. You know what I mean?
It's confusingly simple. How about that? Like,
where
even like a lot of the pacing and maybe the placement of the camera, like there isn't a lot of like. Sure, it has like these action moments, but there are these in between moments that are very still. You know what I mean? It's not jumping around. We're not doing a lot of cuts. We're not talking a lot, which adds to like the confusion of what's happening in the plot. You know what I mean? There's a lot of moments where we're just standing still. It's like simple framing, simple dialogue, but all of that can make it confusing because you're not getting all the extra information you typically get. Do you know what I mean? I'm not trying to say, because I walked out as well asking questions, not just to say that as well.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10?
That's confusing. That's the most confusing thing yet, Miguel.
Can't wait to see it again.
Okay, cool. You know, there's Nope. Check it out on theaters. Now we're going to move on to our next section, what we are into. Ed, how are you doing?
Great.
Miguel,
how are you doing?
Good. I just want to make sure you're not running away on us this time. Miguel, what are you into?
Oh yeah, I do need some water.
You piece of shit.
No, I'll stay put. My throat is scratchy, but
I'll be really quick. So a couple things I'm into this week. I finished Stranger Things season 1. I'm trying to like get into watching it, kind of like Luis, you're talking about watching Succession. When the new season come out next year, you're gonna watch all the show. They just ended season 4 Stranger Things. I was just like, okay, let me catch back up. Let me just like see what's going on. Loved it. Had a great time.
Awesome.
Season 1. It was scary. It was endearing. I wanted everyone to win. I was like on the edge of my seat at times.
It's so fun when everyone has different pieces of information in that show, and you're just like communicate, talk,
and then they all come together.
Yeah,
and Kristen even was like, all of a sudden they're just like on the same team, and you're like, yeah, it does kind of happen pretty quickly.
Stranger Things does do that sometimes, where it's just like, all right, narratively, we just got to get there. You know what I mean? Like
you just have to go along.
We have to, yeah. That is a thing that it's a common theme with it. Yeah,
I will say I've been having a great time with it. I think I mentioned it previously, but like a couple of dumb things do happen, like specifically the one part where Nancy like sticks her head through the tree gate portal thing. And it's just like, bitch, no. Very respectfully. No. But you know, overall, it was just a great show. I just, you know, obviously, like when you're a parent with a kid, you just think about that situation with Joyce and losing her kid, and how no matter what, she was 100% committed to finding him. And you're just like, absolutely, like that's exactly. And there was a moment where it was so vindicating when Hopper comes to Joyce and it's like, you were right all along. Like there's some shit going on, and she's been portrayed as crazy this entire time, even though we as the audience know she's telling the truth. And it's just like to have that moment to be like, yes, someone else believes me. That was cool. And overall, I loved season 1 of Stranger Things. Can't wait to watch beyond 2, 3, and 4.
Have you watched any of those before?
I had seen Stranger Things season 1 before, and we had started season 2, but we got sidetracked, and we never finished season 2, and then 3, and then 4 came out. So we're just like way behind. So we just decided, okay, let's start over from the beginning.
Ed, have you watched Stranger Things?
I did 1 and 2.
Okay.
We didn't go beyond 3. Or beyond 2, I mean.
Right.
Sorry.
Do it with us. Yeah. We're going to watch.
I've been thinking about it. Yeah. So
it's good for a rewatch. I mean, I remember really liking season 1 when we first saw it. I mean, that was like 5+ years ago at this point. But so kind of rewatching it now was a little bit new, but it lived up to it. You know what I mean?
It holds up. Yeah. It's
some of the CGI is a little wonky,
sure, but overall,
the story's great.
It still hits. Yeah, absolutely.
So shout out Stranger Things. I'm gonna keep watching that. The other thing I did is I was playing The Last of Us Part 2 just because I was like looking for a game that I loved and I kind of wanted to replay. I was having a great time with that. I just finished it, and then I totally forgot that Naughty Dog does this. They did it with the Uncharted franchise, and of course they do it with Last of Us 2, where you can get these like, what do they call them? Like renders or gameplay modifications. You can like, at the end of the game, they'll give you like a certain amount of XP and you can spend it. And so I have done like a very fast like run through of the story again after I finished with like one-shot kills, one melee.
Oh, cool.
Kills.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like infinite crafting, infinite supplies. You know what I
cool.
mean?
Yeah.
Like just like really cheat the shit out of the game.
Like God mode kind of situation.
Yeah, basically. And it's so much fucking fun because I'm just like running around. Like they'll be like, "Oh, this is the biggest fucking bad guy we have in the entire game."
Done.
And I like shoot him. I like shoot him with my pistol, and it's like, thank God that's over with. Now let's move on. But in finishing that game, and I love the story so much, and I don't want to overtalk it because I assume someone will eventually play this game and talk to me about it. You, Luis.
Yes.
But I did go back and start playing The Last of Us Part 1 because of it. I was like, all right, let me go and check it out. And I just think it's hilarious that they're doing this like $70 remake, which is going to be super beneficial for this game. I played this game on the PS3 when it first came out, The Last of Us, and then I got it for the PS4, the remake. And I remember thinking, oh my God, it's so beautiful. Like the blood is so realistic. They just like took it to the next level. I'm playing it now and I'm like, woof. This is it doesn't hold up as well, especially when you play the second one right before you play it. But the story itself is amazing. I'm still having a great time with it. And it's like, let me take it back there. And I'm even more excited about this show when it comes out on HBO Max. Fingers crossed. And finally, I'll go off script here. We are just about to finish season 2, F-Boy Island. Mike Lindauer, we're going to get you on. We're going to talk about reality TV shows. F-Boy Island is the shit. Ed, are you watching the show?
No.
Ed, HBO Max released all the episodes at once, I'm pretty sure. Or that's when
I thought you were watching the show, Ed. Weren't you watching the show?
You watched
I watched the first season because I was lonely and was being left out of multiple conversations. So Ed, I decided to get on board.
You have to watch season 2. Season 2 is so much better. They really lean into the comedy. Like this is one of the greatest. I'm going to say this. The greatest reality TV dating shows ever. Like they really understand how to play the comedy of it. Where like they still play into like the reality TV show tropes, but find the humor that is like no one else is really exploiting. Like all these shows take themselves seriously. You know what I mean? And they hype up the drama. And here, like there's a character that's so boring, quote unquote, that every time he goes to speak, they just cut away to something else.
Are you serious? That's so
you've spent the entire season with all these different people, and there's one guy you just never get to know because they've established him as boring, and they won't even show his footage. You know what I mean? Like they just cut away.
That's so fucked.
Fucking hysterical. Like even when they went to like eliminate him, they were like, I can't remember his name, Aaron or something. They were like, an Aaron, and then they don't even say the critique they have of him. Like when they're trying to like break down why he's getting eliminated, they just were like, an Aaron. You know what I mean? I just, dude,
damn,
I
that's
love
hilarious.
F Boy Island. It's fucking hysterical. You guys have to watch that show.
All right.
Maybe this is a show that I put. Maybe this is a show I put on when I'm like brushing my teeth, when I'm like, like doing bullshit, and I can just have it on in the background.
We did it in like 3 days because we were doing like 2.5 episodes a night because it was just like, what's going to happen next? So get on it.
If we're having your friend coming up here to talk about it, I don't want to be left out alone. I want to know what's up.
You gotta watch. Yeah. It's on HBO Max.
Be a bonus episode. Yeah.
The loneliness is real.
I know.
Reality television will leave you behind. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess is there? I know those are.
I must.
If that's what you're into, is there something that you're not into?
Listen, Starz. Okay, Starz sucks. Okay, I wrote this shit down. So Ed and I, we were asked on to another podcast to talk about a movie called Sergeant Bilko with Scott White on his Dan Aykroyd podcast. And this movie was on Starz when I looked it up. And I signed up for a fucking Starz trial through Amazon. And right as I signed up for it, they took that fucking movie off of Starz. So I just like signed up for this trial for nothing. And then I think, okay, well, fuck it, whatever. I'm just going to like enjoy the trial for a week. And then 2 other movies I was in the middle of watching got taken off as I was in the middle of watching them. Not like directly watching them, but like I was like, I'm going to pause this and come back to this tomorrow. And then the very next day, it was not on Starz anymore.
What the hell?
What were the movies?
It was Sergeant Bilko that I was just mentioning. I was in the middle of Casino. I was trying to enjoy a classic Scorsese flick. And that got taken off. And then it was something else. Or maybe I started watching something and I haven't finished it. And I just assume it's going to be taken off. But it just left like a bitter taste in my mouth. Like for something that was supposed to be just this really quick thing. It ended up being such a pain in my ass. I ended up having to rent that movie, Sergeant Bilko. Like I know we were like given a link to it. Ooh, naughty. But I ended up like paying $3 to
Which is how I watched it, by the way. I watched it on that link. I didn't even realize it was on Starz, which I have. That's a bummer.
I don't like clicking on links like that. I feel like I'm going to my phone's going to blow up when I click on like some sort of virus or whatever.
So you should just say that the next time before I have to re-forward you the email.
Well, I didn't want to be rude. I did ask Ed for his Starz login, and he wouldn't give it to me.
Well, now I feel bad. I just, and I'll gladly give you my Starz sign-in, Miguel. I just thought it was like, the link works fine, Miguel. I just watched it.
It's one of those things where you don't want to like invite yourself over or like overextend. You know what I mean? I was okay, he didn't offer it, so I'll let it go. It's okay.
I feel bad now.
Best man at my wedding. He won't give me the Starz sign in though.
Damn it.
Starz sucks. It was my least favorite of the streaming services. I had it for a while, and then I did this free trial through another account. And it's just like, it is weak. It's terrible. Fuck Starz. Go HBO Max.
I have it as an extension of my Prime. It has its benefits. It's got all the Spider-Man movies right now, including No Way Home.
Except Into the Spider-Verse, which I hyped up to my son the other day. I was like, bro, we're going to go home. And
Isn't that on Netflix?
We're going to stream the shit out of it. I don't think it is. Is it on Netflix?
It was for the longest time.
I remember thinking it was on some sort of streaming service, and then when I actually sat down to show my kid this movie, and I hyped him up, and he was like, hell yeah, we're going to watch this movie. I couldn't find it anywhere.
I'm sorry.
My kid hates me now, but don't worry, we're going to watch Buzz Lightyear tomorrow, so it's going to be fun.
There you go.
Anyway, that's me.
I'm looking.
Thank you guys.
Yeah, I'm looking to see if I can find out where it's streaming now, but as I'm figuring this out, Ed, what are you into?
What am I into? Sarah and I got Sarah into watching that docu-series on Disney Plus, Light and Magic.
Oh, dude, I'm so jealous. I've been wanting to watch that, so I have to hear your thoughts.
Oh man. I was sneaky. Sarah's just like, I just want to watch something light and easy. I was like, well, what do you feel about documentary? Because she likes that shit. And she was like, about what? Because like we'll watch like murder documentaries and shit like that, real heavy shit. But I was like, well, it's about like the beginning of the company behind like the. Thank you.
Sorry, it's no. We'll talk about it later. That's fine.
The guys who did all these special effects for like Star Wars and all of these movies that we love, etc.
It started with Star Wars.
ILM. Yeah, it started with Star Wars.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So and she was into it. At least the first episode was 60 minutes long. And I mean, it was about that journey. It's really cool, first off, to see how all of these things came into fruition, like how they came up with the design for the Millennium Falcon, which went on to be one of the most iconic movie vehicles, I guess, or however you want to phrase it. And just like the little effects that went with it, and it's just kind of like this small knit crew of these kind of like dorky guys who, special effects wasn't like a bigger thing for movies back then, but they were all fascinated by it and basically just like fumbled their way through this process and developed these iconic things. Like they developed groundbreaking visual effects for movies, and it changed a lot of things going forward. And I can only assume we'll see that like with the other Star Wars films and Indiana Jones and Jurassic Park. I'm sure they'll touch on.
Yeah,
because George Lucas and Steven Spielberg are both like producers on this show, and they're interviewing George Lucas for it. So the first one really only covers that initial, I guess, development with the main guys and their work on the first Star Wars film. They haven't even finished it. Like the episodes ends with George Lucas saying like, I went back to the warehouse after however many months of shooting, and these guys had 2 frames for me of visual effects, and he was like, and I wasn't happy, and it cuts there, and I was like, yeah, all right.
I was watching a documentary about the making of Star Wars, and it seemed like they were like a party house, or like they just like were fucking around for a while, and he just had to buckle down and get shit done or something. But
he was shooting in England the whole time whilst they were supposed to be developing this stuff. And I'm sure George Lucas would say this too. It's just like, well, what they were doing was like developing the means to make these special effects possible. Basically, like everything was being built from the ground up. Like everything, what they were trying to do, didn't exist.
Yeah, I remember.
So it was pretty great.
I remember there was something like some team was working on it, and then it just looked really bad, and they had to start from scratch again because they were just fucking around or something. But
for sure. And there's like footage of them like going down like a water slide in the parking lot, and they bought like a big like animal trough and filled it up with water because it was hot outside. They were just like chilling there and drink and stuff. I saw that too, Luis.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, anyway, it was super interesting. I'm looking forward to watching the rest. We only watched that first episode, but, and you can tell, like, these guys just got so lucky and found their niche, and
that's cool.
Ultimately ended up changing the game. Like, and then the only other thing I've been watching is Better Call Saul. I'm well into season 3 now. And I'm loving it. It's great. It is.
I definitely asked Ed the other day, hey, should I get into Better Call Saul? And Ed was like,
No.
Yeah.
I said yeah.
I'd have to go back to it because I remember being like, is it good? Like, should I get into it? And you kind of left me on like a ... Like, I don't know.
I said, that is a good question. And, well, I guess I was... when I said that, it was like I was thinking about you and how you watch things. But you're such a big lover of Breaking Bad. I don't see any reason why you shouldn't like Better Call Saul, because the more I've gotten along, it's obviously not the same show, but it has it's the same style, it's the same like universe, obviously. Yeah. And I mean, it's almost seamless. Like, it doesn't feel like forced. Like, one thing I was thinking about was that we have all complained about, especially with these fucking Marvel shows and Star Wars shows, where sometimes they just don't have a clear storyline, and like there's always like one or two throwaway episodes that just either didn't need to exist or be. But like, this is like the perfect example of just like how well they know their characters and the story. They're just like, they go on different like storylines, but it's all contained and it all serves a purpose, and it's all interesting as fuck, and it's done really well. Like, it's like it's not even a legal drama, but it incorporates elements of that. It's still got that Breaking Bad element that's like building up momentum. Like, I've met Gus now in the show,
right,
and it's great to have him back. But like, again, it doesn't feel forced. It's all very organic and believable, and it's just true to the characters that we already know. Like Saul Goodman, he starts off as Jimmy McGill, that's his real name, and his Mike, Ehrmantraut, yeah. You see more of his origins, but like contained with this storyline. Like, they don't do flashbacks to an earlier time or anything like that. Anyway, all that to say is, like, yes, I do think you would enjoy Better Call Saul, Miguel.
Let's go.
I want you to give it a go. And I'm frustrated with myself because I did start watching this show a couple of years back when I guess when it first started. And I finished season 1, I enjoyed it. And I started season 2, and then I just kind of fell off of it. But I like got through season 2; it was all good. Like, I just regret that I hadn't kept going with it. But now I guess I'm able to just back in, binge watch it. Yeah. But yeah, no, it's been great, and I look forward to getting on.
I think it's going to be one of those where, because they're almost done with it, I think I'm just going to go ahead and wait till it's all done, and then I'll give it its go.
That's fair. But yes, I do think you would enjoy it. I think all the characters are really great.
Yeah,
sorry, go ahead, Luis.
I was going to say, this is a good opportunity. I mean, like, I'm always like, I'm going to start that too. But I do want to start this too as well, because I dropped off of it too, because, well, I think I said this in the podcast before. But I think I'm ended up around season 4. So if I start watching, then I can be able to catch up on it. But it's funny you say that.
You watched
What's up?
Sorry, you watched it through till season 4?
I think I stopped in the middle of season 4.
Aren't they on season 4 right now?
No, they're on season 6.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it was that many.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe I won't get into it. Maybe it's too far gone.
I think I was in the middle of season 4, but I don't remember.
That's the guy watching Mad Men,
which is another show I dropped off on season 4 that I want to get back on as well. So fuck. Yeah. No, that's good. It's good. It's funny, Ed, that you say that they knew what they were doing, because I was listening to the Breaking Bad podcast, and they have a great podcast if you're watching it.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I mean, listen to the Better Call Saul. They have a Breaking Bad podcast. It's led by the editor of the show, and they have a podcast for every single episode. It's some really insightful stuff. So check that out. But in one of the episodes, they were saying in Breaking Bad, there's that flashback scene at the beginning of the last season of Breaking Bad where Walter White is like going into that abandoned house, and he is like getting stuff, and it's like they were saying when they were breaking those episodes that they knew that's where they wanted to go, but they didn't know how they were going to get there. And so they just kind of what they do is sometimes they set themselves up in a corner where like, we know we want to get there. I'm just repeating myself now, but they don't, whatever. But you know what I'm saying? Like they don't have it all planned out as well. Yeah, they kind of get themselves in a corner. But what Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul does a really good job of is like, they're really good at shit. My mic keeps falling. They know the characters very well, so they're able to like do a really good story.
Because that can be kind of tricky when you have like an end point and you go, I'm going to build to that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to nail those landings. And even though I haven't seen Better Call Saul, just talking about Breaking Bad, like Breaking Bad does that from start to finish. Yeah. Once they set their minds to something, they do a really great job about sticking those landings. So,
yeah. Last thing I'll say is that Vince Gilligan is like the master of pin drops, or needle drops. Sorry.
Yeah, man.
And montages. Like, anytime
Kelly Dixon
there's a needle
editor.
drop, you know that they're going to take a very just like mundane task and turn it into a cool little montage over a couple of minutes.
That's the editor, Kelly Dixon, who like runs the podcast. Like, props to her, and then their editing team. They do such a good job.
Sorry.
Well, I'll do
wrong props.
No, I mean Vince Gilligan too. Everyone deserves props. I just want to give them to all of them. Cool. Yeah, I'm gonna try to watch Better Call Saul. Miguel's watching Mad Men. I'm gonna try to watch Mad Men. I'm gonna try to keep playing this game that I'm into now. Stray is about cats. About a cat who's lost his way from his fellow cats, trying to find his way back home. That's on the PlayStation. I'm playing on the PlayStation 5. I know it's on PS5 and PC. And it's the first time I've got to like use some of the like exclusive PlayStation stuff, like the adaptive triggering. So the cat will sometimes scratch at trees and scratch on carpets like a cat does, and you can feel the resistance on the triggers, which is pretty cool. I'm also like experiencing almost 3D sound because I hear him meowing on the speaker, but also meowing on their controller too. So I'm like, oh, this is crazy. I'm not really deep into it because I've been pretty busy, but it's really fun. I don't know. All I have to say is I'll have more updates. I don't know if you have questions, Miguel, on it, but so far I've gotten to the part where he's a cat and he's jumping around, but now he has a robot buddy.
Robot backpack.
Right? Yeah, he finds him, and he puts on this robot backpack and he's like uncomfortably walking like a cat does. And as a daddy of 3 cats, like I'm having a ball of just seeing this cat walking around. I'm meowing at everything. I'm knocking down shit off the table. I'm scratching at stuff. There's literally a button just to meow. Like if you just want to meow, you could just push this button. But
this is definitely one of those games that I want to play. And I just recently found out that they go ahead and include it in the game catalog for the PlayStation Plus subscription. So it's like you can, if you have your the mid-tier one, you can get access to this game for free. So I'm trying to get that shit.
It's a 5-hour game. You know what I mean? So it's like not a long
easy.
It's what I mean. It's an easy play. Even the pricing of it is pretty affordable. I think it's $40 when usually games like $60 or $70. So it's a puzzle game.
Do you think they'll make a sequel to this with dogs?
Maybe. I was gonna say this one.
I'd buy that game.
This one, you know what? That seems like anti-cat rhetoric. Okay, so
we have so much anti-cat rhetoric in the world. We need some positive cat, stories. They're always the bad guys.
They're anti-me. Okay,
you got to meet my cat. They'll love you.
I don't have this game yet, but I have been watching a lot of like gameplay of it because I am very excited about it. And I think the biggest complaint that I hear from most people is just that you have this idea that like a cat is a very fluid motion animal. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, they jump, they do things, and here you can jump and get high and jump over here and this and that, but it's a very like rigid system of like I press X and then I move here. I press X and I move here, as opposed to like something like, for example, like the Assassin's Creed games where they're like parkouring up buildings. You know what I mean? Like here you have to like say I want you to move this amount of way, and it's not as fluid. And you think about a cat being like, a cat will go anywhere in the world that they want to. You know what I mean? They don't need someone to tell them how to do it. That's my only drawback. So I was going to say this feels like a very much like a proof of concept. You know what I mean?
I would say too. I think if it does really well, I think it'll have a great sequel.
A sequel is almost guaranteed at this point.
Yeah, and I think it would definitely they definitely up that, because you're right. When I go to places, I'm pretty much holding the X button just to constantly be jumping. Like everywhere I'm going, I'm like jump, jump, jump. Like it's not like a free form where I can like literally jump anywhere, because I think there's
like points.
Yeah, and there are parameters that they're trying to keep you at, and I think that's part of the puzzle of it all. But being a cat is so endearing, and the design is so nice that it draws me in enough where I'm kind of like enjoying the ride, and knowing that I'll only have to spend 5 hours on it is like, okay, cool. I can get through this relatively quick,
Easy peasy.
I'm continuing to watch Only Murders in the Building, which has been obviously really great. And it's kind of fun. Sometimes they have these like really, I don't know, like magical, realistic moments where you kind of escape from this reality into like, I don't know, magical realism. That's all I have to say. And then I'm watching Harley Quinn season 3. The new episode.
I want to get into that too.
Yeah, it's really so. I've only watched one episode of Harley Quinn, of the new season. Of season 3. I've seen them all, and in fact, they have a comic series from season 2 to season 3 that kind of fills in the blanks after they leave to have their bang
honeymoon?
Kill. Yeah, their honeymoon. It's like the love kill bang tour is what they call it, and so you get to hear their honeymoon adventures, or read them. But it's funny because this season 3 almost feels like a pilot where they're kind of reestablishing everyone's roles in the show. So I feel like there is some growing pains. I love the show, but it makes me excited to see more episodes for Harley Quinn. And then to wrap this up, I finally got to watch The Gray Man on Netflix. It's so funny because I saw a review that gave it a 5 out of 10, and I was like, can it really be that bad? And I don't think it was a 5 out of 10. Like, I didn't have that experience.
Think it's higher?
Yeah, I thought it was a fun movie.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
I've seen like a handful of bad reviews out there, but I had a really good time with that film.
I had a great time. I felt like I was watching like a modern day 90s action movie. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, look, this is just a fun action movie, and it has some heart moments, but we're not here to watch full arcs happening. We're not here to see deep emotional moments.
It never takes itself too seriously.
Yeah, it's just trying to be a badass film. And sometimes I feel like it has a little bit of Michael Bayism in it. Do you know what I mean? With like, not in a bad way.
Like the collateral damage is insane.
The collateral damage and the colors, like the saturated like blues and the greens and the reds, like that you get in a Michael Bay, where it's like it wants to feel, I don't know, action slick poppy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm here for it. I had a good time.
I like it.
Yeah.
I love the rapport between Chris Evans and Ryan Gosling.
Yeah.
And Chris Evans is having a blast in this film.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's really cool to see Chris Evans, because he has played an asshole before, but we've only seen him play a nice guy as Captain America. But you forget, like, oh yeah, he's really good at playing a dick, like in Knives Out, and in Scott Pilgrim, and in Fantastic Four, and in The Gray Man. It's like he is good at that role. And this movie was, I think, Netflix's most expensive movie that they ever made.
That's one thing that I struggled with. I was just like, I mean, because some of the like one of the biggest letdowns of the film, maybe 2 scenes of CGI heavy, that the CGI is like, the train scene and the plane scene.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're just like, okay. You just kind of roll with it. And I wonder, like, did they just really spend that budget on flying to all of these fucking locations? Because that's all I could chalk it up to.
It feels like...
It's like 200 million, that's excessive.
Yeah, it feels like, hey, we spent... Like, they got spoiled with Avenger movie money, and they're like, well, to pull it off, we gotta do it this way. And they did use a lot of VFX more than maybe I would have wanted. It's like we could have toned it down a little bit on that.
Because they have plenty of action scenes that look great.
Yeah.
But yeah, like I said, that plane sequence was bad. Or not bad. Like, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the action, but like visually, like when they're out of the plane, and they're trying to get on the parachute, it looks a little rough. So yeah, I don't know.
They had some cool stuff, like they were using those drone cameras like that were like swinging around. I was like, oh, that's a cool like
they're having fun.
They're having fun. Yeah. It really does feel like they're having fun with it, even though there's not much to it. They're using a lot of fun elements of like lights and smoke to like really like almost like Spielberg with like using these light effects to kind of really shine scenes up. And there was like one
as a part of the
there was like a plane fight scene, and I don't know what it was. He had a flare gun or something, and he was fighting.
Yeah,
and it was just like smoke was engulfing. I was like, oh, this is what I mean by this like pulp culture like slick action stuff. Like they're using elements to really plump it up, pulp it up. I thought so. Yeah, the VFX came a little crazy. I think the action, there's a lot of, after having John Wick, I really enjoy action when it's not cut. There's not a lot of cuts, and I feel like there's a lot of cuts happening sometimes. I like seeing the action a little bit more. I also think that they're trying to do a series with this because it really felt like they were setting up a big bad already, where they're like,
I think they already announced it.
Oh, did they? Well, yeah, I can feel it when I watch the movie. I'm like, there's somebody running this, this plot or whatever, and so you already know, like, oh, well, now we got to find out who the real big bad is, and I'm sure they're used to that. Look at these ratings: 6.5 out of 10, 46%, 46%. Really? I don't think it was that bad. Let's see what they said here. 91%.
It's better than Thor: Love and Thunder.
91% audience score. Okay, 46% by critics. This is what they said on Rotten Tomatoes. The Gray Man has a star-studded outline of entertaining action thriller, but it's filled with lukewarm leftovers from far better films. And this is what the audience has to say. Add this one to your queue with confidence, action fans. The Gray Man has a great cast, exciting set pieces, and a solid story. I don't know about solid, but it was very fun. Yeah. I mean, I'm here for it, But the Gray Man, Miguel, are you gonna check out the Gray Man? You should check out the Gray Man. What do you mean? We'll hang out. We'll get drunk. We'll watch the Gray Man. And it's gonna be a good time.
There you go.
It's just like a fun action film.
It's a fun action film. When you want to watch something fun, put it on.
And you got two very famous F-boys.
Oh my god!
I wouldn't say they were F-boys. Chris Evans would 100% be a nice guy, and Ryan Gosling would totally be an F-boy. All right, so that's finalized.
That's finalized. Listen, it's going late. We're hitting long in this podcast. I'm losing my mind. I'm losing my words. And with that, listen, we thank you so much for watching and listening another episode of Punch Drunk Nerd. Okay, it's me, Luis Gonzalez, and I've had the pleasure of talking to
Miguel
and Ed.
Yes, and until next time, Punch Drunk Nerdians. Later, Gators.
Laters, Gators.